Chapter 98, Chapter 80. Untouched. Inside the massive heli-carrier, the Avengers and Maria Hill gathered in the meeting room to discuss the events in Madripoor. The atmosphere was tense as they delved into the mysterious figures and incidents surrounding the mission. Present were Iron Man, Captain America, Wolverine, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Bruce Banner, Maria Hill, and a hooded figure known as Patroness Uzumaki Naruto. "How does it feel, Cap?" Tony Stark began, a smirk on his face. "Taking down your nemesis without lifting a finger? Must be a record for you." He leaned back, watching the news footage on the screen. It showed the United States claiming victory over the Hydra terrorists, with the narrative framing them as the saviors of Madripoor. "Cut it out, Tony." Steve Rogers frowned, his arms crossed. "We're here to talk about the Emperor. He's our prime suspect for stealing the Tesseract." "Ah, the mysterious Emperor," Tony replied, rolling his eyes. "Another enigma. But unlike a certain someone," he gestured subtly at Patroness, "this guy is loud and proud about his title." "Emperor? Really? Does he have a secret kingdom we don't know about?" Naruto didn't react, remaining silent under his hood, though Tony's jab didn't go unnoticed. Natasha Romanoff, better known as Black Widow, stepped in. "From what we've gathered, this Emperor is incredibly powerful and meticulous. He erased all traces of himself. There's no data on him in any database. It's like he doesn't exist. A ghost." Her tone was sharp, her spy instincts on high alert. Bruce Banner raised an eyebrow. "So, not just strong but sly too? Great. How are we supposed to find someone like that? And let's not forget he calls himself an emperor. You think he's running some hidden kingdom?" Hawkeye joined the conversation. "And what about his accomplices? The so-called Nightmare, that spider-themed warrior, and the woman who looks like she stepped out of a Disney movie? Is that Spider-Man the same guy we know?" Logan grunted, leaning back in his chair. "No clue about the crazy woman, but that Spider Kid. He's got potential. A real fighter. I wouldn't mind recruiting him for my team." Maria Hill, standing at the front of the room, interrupted the speculation. "You need to see this." She played a video on the screen, one that had been circulating online before the government scrambled to suppress it. The footage showed a blinding golden light morphing into a massive blue giant in the middle of a war-torn city. The giant performed what could only be described as miracles, healing countless injuries, even curing chronic illnesses. The clip ended with the figure vanishing as mysteriously as it appeared. "In Gaza," Hill explained, "this so-called angel descended on March 10. By morning, every Palestinian in the area had been healed. People in the region are hailing it as a divine intervention. But here's the question: why did this entity help them? Is it a threat to us? We need to determine its motives before it becomes a danger." "Big guy, hey!" Hawkeye muttered, shaking his head. "What this blue giant business in the sandbox? Is he their guardian angel or something?" Steve's expression darkened. "A threat? Really, Hill? From what I've seen, that blue giant is a hero. And we're the oppressors in this situation. How can you call them our enemy?" His voice rose with anger as he stood, grabbing Maria Hill by the collar. "Do you even realize what's happening? This isn't war, it's slaughter. We're no better than Hydra." Hill, unfazed, glared back. "Put me down, soldier. And remember this: our government stands by Israel. That land is theirs by right, and we're their allies. Do you want to disobey orders and be branded a traitor, Captain?" Bruce Banner sighed, pinching the bridge of his nose. "This is why I hate politics." Steve clenched his jaw, his grip tightening, but before he could act further, Tony stepped in. "Cool it, Cap. Let's stay focused on what we can do. I'll handle the bureaucrats and push for a ceasefire. Can we agree on that?" Reluctantly, Steve released Hill and sat back down, his anger still simmering. Meanwhile, Naruto, observing the exchange, was deep in thought. The giant on the screen, he recognized him immediately. Naruto, is that who I think it is? Kurama's voice echoed in his mind, laced with shock. Yet, Naruto replied silently, a small smile tugging at his lips. That brat! Ominous as ever, but his heart's in the right place. Naya Satria-kun is such a good boy, Matatabi purred, clearly enamored by the emperor's actions. Foolish humans, Shikaku scoffed. They call us beasts of destruction, yet they're worse than we could ever be. Tony's voice broke through Naruto's thoughts. Patroness, you seem awfully calm after watching that. Do you know something about this emperor or his associates? Naruto shook his head, his hood concealing his face. I don't. But if I learn anything, you'll be the first to know. Hill narrowed her eyes at him, suspicion clear in her gaze. To her, Patroness was an enigma, a man with great power and an impenetrable wall of secrets. Enjoy your little game while you can, Patroness, Hill thought to herself. I'll uncover the truth behind that hood soon enough. And as for the Golden Emperor, I'll bring him to justice and retrieve the Tesseract. Homestay, Kyoto, Japan. Golden Flash and Black Shadow arrived simultaneously, followed shortly by 6 figures entering the homestay: Satria's clone, Valyana, Kurumi, Peter Parker, and Baopon Sith. Kurumi relentlessly thumped Satria's clone's back, her adorable yet furious expression speaking volumes. Meanwhile, Valyana clung to him lovingly, completely unbothered. __. Mission completed. 18,000 copyright shared. 10,000 copyright plus 2 gacha tickets plus 1 surprise box for Bang Sat. 4,000 copyright plus 1 surprise box for Evil Spirit. 4,000 copyright plus 1 surprise box for Spider-Man. Participants will return in 20 minutes, except for visitors from the At God of Hope world. ____. Stop hitting me, Kurumi-chan. And the reward, it's so disappointing. Satria groaned, clearly underwhelmed by the results on the screen. Welcome back, and, who are they? Kiyohime appeared, her serene expression betrayed by the sharp glint in her eyes. Care to introduce your guests, Danasama? Her gaze lingered a little too long on Baopon Sith. Baopon Sith met Kiyohime's gaze, her expression unfazed. Please, don't misunderstand. I am not what you assume. My name is Baopon Sith, fiancé to this gentleman Peter Parker. Delighted to meet you. Kiyohime's suspicion softened as she folded her hands in her lap, bowing in proper Japanese etiquette. My apologies, Sith-san. I am Kiyohime Matsumi, the wife of Satria. Welcome to our home. Apology accepted. It's a pleasure to meet you, Kiyohime-san, Baopon Sith replied politely. Aira, I apologize for intruding. My name is Fatalis Matsumi, another of Satria's wives. Fatalis emerged, her sharp yet playful tone directed at Satria. I trust my little boy wasn't causing too much trouble. Nice to meet you too, Fatalis. Peter nodded respectfully. Glancing at Satria, he hesitated before adding nervously, and Satria was, great, right, girls? He desperately sought backup, only to be met with Kurumi's blank stare and Baopon Sith's sigh. Satria rolled his eyes. See? Nothing to worry about. Kurumi's just in her PMS mode. Ow! His words were cut short as Kurumi stomped on his foot, her fists still pounding his back. Fatalis chuckled. Oh, dear! He's been as mischievous as always, I see. Now, explain, Danasama, Kiyohime interjected, her sweet smile not reaching her eyes. Fine, fine. First off, I wasn't just sitting idle during the fight, I trusted you all could handle it. How will you grow if I solve every problem for you? Satria said, feigning a wise demeanor. The others exchanged glances. While they begrudgingly accepted the logic, Kurumi narrowed her eyes. And the Emperor nonsense? Ah, just role play, Satria replied nonchalantly. It makes me look cooler. Cooler? Peter sputtered. Your Emperor bit set off my spider sense, man. I thought you were serious. Beoponsith nodded in agreement. We were all convinced. You radiated the aura of a genuine ruler. See? I'm a natural actor. Satria grinned smugly. More like a natural fool, Fatalis quipped. Meanwhile, Satria stretched lazily, his expression turning contemplative. Talk about ruler. Nat, that sounds like too much work. I'd rather spend my time with my family than dealing with all that pressure, he declared, his face lighting up with sincerity. His wives couldn't help but be touched by his statement, their hearts melting a little at his earnestness. Kurumi, however, wasn't letting him off that easily. Touching as that is, my love, don't think you can sweet-talk your way out of explaining yourself. Continue, she said, her sharp gaze pinning him in place. How about your new pet? Satria clicked his tongue, averting his eyes. TCH, she's too sharp, he thought. With a resigned sigh, he continued, all right, all right. You guys know lions, right? The group nodded. Well, even lions are dangerous at first, but with proper training, they can be tamed. The same goes for this octopus, he said, gesturing dramatically. Sure, he's ugly, wicked, and somehow talks too, but where else are you going to find a weird octopus like him? And let's not forget he's an unfortunate case, summoned against his will to fight us. Instead of hating him just because he's unattractive, we should learn to forgive. Say no to racism. Satria finished with fervor, as if delivering a revolutionary speech. Peter's eyes sparkled. You're absolutely right, big bro Satria. Racism is wrong even toward an evil octopus with a strange name like Buddy. But Fatalis rolled her eyes, arms crossed. The audacity of a MOBA player like you lecturing about racism when you do it in every pub game? Also, Buddy? Really? You're terrible at naming things. Just admit it, you're a furry trying to build a zoo. Satria spun toward her, scandalized. I'm not a furry. And I'm not building a zoo, I'm building Jurassic Park. Besides, I only flame subhuman teammates who deserve it. And for the record, Buddy is a great name. His wives collectively sweat dropped. Why are we even entertaining this idiot, they thought in unison, unwilling to argue further. Beopon chuckled and patted Kurumi on the shoulder. You have my respect, Kurumi. Dealing with him every day must be exhausting. Kurumi groaned, face-palming. You have no idea. Valyana, observing the chaos, turned to one of Satria's clones nearby. Hey, are you always this stupid, hubby? She asked skeptically. Of course not, my love. He and I are completely different breeds, the clone replied with a smug grin. I'm the handsome, fashionable version. He then created a golden lightning remnant using the speed force to admire himself dramatically. Valyana stared blankly. Forget I asked. Turning to the rest of Satria's wives, she demanded, all right, where's the real hubby? Her question was met with silence. Don't ignore me, damn it. Fatalis smirked, leaning against the doorway with crossed arms. I didn't notice you there, Valyana-chan. My apologies, she said, her voice tinged with playful jealousy. Kiyohime, seated gracefully nearby, added with a sarcastic edge, how was the honeymoon? It must have been blissful, enjoying your vacation without the rest of us interrupting your quality time with our beloved Dana-sama. Valyana's face lit up with satisfaction. Of course, it was. While I was roughing it on Criminal Island, you all were sailing luxuriously in the Maldives. What a tragedy, she teased. Turning to Kurumi, she added smugly, but yes, being treated like royalty by hubby was quite rewarding. Kurumi's brow twitched. Royalty? Well, you are the White Dragon Princess, according to him. So, I suppose it's only natural you'd get the royal treatment. Don't call me that. Valyana snapped, her cheeks flushing. I'm not a princess, I'm the White Dragon Emperor. Their banter was interrupted by a sleepy voice. What's all this noise? I can't sleep. A petite black cat girl appeared in the living room, still in her pajamas, her ears twitching with annoyance. Good morning, Fran Chan. Fatalis greeted her warmly. Did you sleep well? The bed here is so comfortable. Way better than those inns in my world, Fran replied, stretching. Her sleepy eyes scanned the room. Where's the real him? Fran's nose twitched slightly. She could distinguish between Satria and his clone with ease, thanks to the unique scent she had marked on him. With a resigned sigh, Kiyohime stood and opened the entrance to the Zen garden. Outside, the group could see the real Satria kneeling by the pond. He was offering food to a figure hidden in the water, two enormous wolves standing protectively at his sides. Wow! Peter exclaimed, stepping closer to the garden view. What are those? They're huge. And so fluffy. The wolves were majestic, each the size of a lion. The one on Satria's right was a radiant gold, its fur glinting like sunlight, while the one on his left was a deep, shadowy black that mirrored the night sky. How did he even get those beasts? Peter asked, his voice laced with awe. No, better question, how did he tame them? Beoponsith's gaze sharpened. Those aren't ordinary wolves, are they? She asked, her curiosity piqued. Fatalis chuckled softly. Allow me to enlighten you, Sith-chan. These are no mere wolves. What you see before you are the wolves of Calamity, Asir's most dangerous enemies. The wolves of Calamity. Beoponsith's brows furrowed as she tried to recall the legends. Indeed, Fatalis continued. These beasts are destined to devour the sun and moon, signaling the beginning of Ragnarok. And, of course, my husband managed to tame them with the power of love. For a moment, the room was silent as the weight of her words sank in. Then, Beoponsith's eyes widened in disbelief. Wait, the sun-eating wolves of Norse myth? Those wolves? Peter, ever the skeptic, crossed his arms. You can't be serious. Wolves that eat the sun? That defies every known law of science. And tamed with the power of love. Beoponsith raised a brow. Please. Don't feed me that nonsense. Love doesn't tame beasts like that. Fatalis shrugged nonchalantly. Believe what you want, Sith-chan. I'm just telling you the truth. You're kidding, right? Love. Beoponsith still looked unconvinced. Fran tilted her head. Actually, it's probably true. My lord does have a strange way of making even terrifying things get along with him. Peter rubbed his temples. First a talking octopus, now this. What's next? A dragon. Already got 3, Fatalis replied with a smirk. Ariel Daddy brought you the best food in the world. Satria called out to the blue aquatic cat hiding in the pond. He held up a dish of his creation, a special treat named fish jelly Teresa, made with natural fish bone jelly and a hint of soy sauce. I made this just for you, sweetie. I personally cooked it myself. Unfortunately, the Vaporeon or Ariel ignored him completely. Please don't ignore me, Ariel. I miss you. Satria pleaded. From the pond, a pair of bright blue eyes peeked out, followed by an aquatic cat-like creature with fins and scales. Naya, Naya! You liar! Go play with the furballs you brought into our family. You're replacing me. Nothing could ever replace you, sweetheart, Satria insisted, kneeling at the water's edge. Please, have faith in me. Dawn, Selena, and you're all part of this family. Just look at them. They want to get along with you, too. At his cue, Satria gave a knowing look to the twin wolves beside him. Don, the golden-furred wolf, barked dramatically. Woof, 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 woof. Boss is right. We want to be friends with you too, Vaporeon-chan. Boss, where's my reward? Can I have steak today? Selena, the sleek black wolf, growled softly and smacked her brother's head with her paw. Growling. Woof. Idiot. This isn't the time. The little cat hasn't even come out yet. Don whimpered, realizing his mistake. Naya. Really? The twin wolves nodded in unison and howled gently, inviting Ariel to join their pack. Slowly, Ariel emerged from the water, sniffing the food Satria had made. After a tentative bite, her eyes lit up. Naya! 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 Daddy's food is so tasty. I love you. Satria's eyes welled up with tears. We did it. Thank you both so much. Overcome with joy, he began dancing with the twin wolves in celebration. What is that creature? Peter asked, wide-eyed as he watched the heartwarming scene. It looks like a cat, but it has fish features. And it's so adorable. Where does he even find these animals? Remind me again how we all fell for him. Valyana muttered, crossing her arms in disbelief. Because you're a weirdo too, Albion chimed in. What did you just say, stupid dragon? Valyana snapped, her cheeks flushed. I'm not a weirdo. And why are you suddenly so talkative these days? Albion chuckled. I can't help it. You've become so much more entertaining since meeting that white-haired nitwit. You're not the tomboyish lone wolf you used to be. Admit it, Valyana. Your life is far more colorful with him. Valyana grumbled but didn't refute him. Fatalis smiled knowingly. Where else could you find someone like him? Despite his quirks, he always gives his best to make us happy and keeps us safe. Agreed. Kiyohime nodded. Danasama never fails to exceed our expectations. Kurumi smirked mischievously. He's unpredictable, makes life fun, and, let's just say he's quite talented in certain areas. Her suggestive comment made everyone blush, and Satria instantly covered Fran's ears. Why are you covering my ears, Satria? Fran asked innocently. Nothing important, he stammered, using telepathy to quickly distract her. He glared at Kurumi, silently pleading with her not to corrupt the pure cat girl. Fran tilted her head, a sly smile forming. My lord is so cute when flustered. Does he forget I can read lips? He's tempting me to tease him more, but I'll behave for now. Satria turned back to his wives and clones. Why didn't anyone tell me we'd have guests today? I could have prepared. His frustration only made the group laugh harder. Don't be mad, my love, Fatalis cooed, pulling him into a warm embrace. She gently patted his head. Who's a good boy? Satria melted into her affection, his irritation vanishing. Strangely, a wagging tail seemed to appear behind him, much to Peter's astonishment. Did he just grow a tail? Peter whispered, rubbing his eyes. Or am I seeing things? Geez, Fatalis-san, don't spoil him too much, Kiyohime chided. That's rich coming from you, Kurumi quipped, smirking. Suddenly, one of Satria's clones stepped forward, wrapping an arm around Valyana. Why not leave this loser and go out with me instead, my lady? What are you saying? Valyana stammered, her face turning crimson as the clone leaned in closer. Yet, we're way cooler than him, another clone chimed in, smirking. Satria's eye twitched. What did you just say, you jerks? Nobody messes with the great Satria and gets away with it. Come here. With that, he lunged at his clones, dispelling them with a flurry of punches. The group deadpanned as they watched him fight with his own copies. Unbelievable, Valyana muttered, shaking her head. You're stuck with him, Albion teased. Shut up, stupid. Wow. Beoponsith muttered. That's the guy you all fell for. He grows on you, Fatalis replied with a smirk. Without warning, a swirling purple portal appeared in the tranquil Zen garden of the homestay. Out stepped several familiar figures, Naruto, Artoria, Konako, and Kurika. Senpai. I missed you so much. Konako exclaimed as she used a body flicker jutsu to close the distance, throwing herself into Satria's arms. After enduring Naruto's grueling training, she wanted nothing more than to be spoiled by him. Satria smiled warmly, catching her effortlessly and spinning her around. Welcome back, Konako. If you're here, I take it you've mastered everything you needed to learn about chakra control, right, my precious kitten? Naya. Konako pouted adorably. Stop treating me like a kid. Satria immediately froze, setting her down. Her puffed cheeks and furrowed brow were too cute to ignore. All right, he said, chuckling softly. But seriously, how did your training go? She crossed her arms and held her head high. I've mastered it, senpai. Thanks to Naruto-san and Nei-chan, I've got full control now. That's my girl. Satria grinned, leaning down to kiss her cheek and ruffle her hair. A soft purring sound escaped her, betraying her delight. Kurika, who had been watching from a short distance, sighed. How unfortunate Konako has to return to her world so soon. Can't we keep her here a bit longer? Satria glanced at her, his expression serious. I'd love for her to stay, but she needs to settle things with Gremory first. I won't let my family remain bound to that ridiculous peerage system. It's nothing but a leash forcing loyalty without consent. Kurika's gaze softened. I understand. Still, it'd be nice to spend more time with her. There's so much more she could learn. There was a pause before Kurika asked hesitantly, Satria-kun, do you hate supernatural creatures? You call yourself human, and I've heard of others like you like Cao who despise anything non-human. Are you the same? Satria laughed, his voice ringing with mockery. Wahaha! Don't compare me to that clown. The whole humans are righteous and devils are evil narrative is a joke that changes with whoever's writing the history books. Kids who've never seen peace have one view, and kids who've never seen war have another. But me? I've seen both. There is no such thing as true justice, he continued, his tone shifting to one of commanding authority. Those in power decide what's right and wrong. Humans, demi-human, devils, angels, does it matter? Ambition drives chaos, and that cycle will continue forever. Do you understand, Kurika? Kurika was stunned by his words, unsure how to respond. His charisma was undeniable, and his speech carried the weight of someone who had lived through countless battles. Naruto's brows furrowed as he studied Satria's composed demeanor. This kid's beliefs, they're extreme. Too extreme. I can't let him go astray, not like Sasuke. He's more dangerous than him if left unchecked. Artoria's eyes narrowed, a strange sense of familiarity washing over her. This feeling, it's the same as when I met the King of Conquerors and the King of Heroes during the Holy Grail War. Is this boy destined to stand among kings? Kurika's lips curled into an amused smile. He called the true Longinus wielder a clown? This guy's incredible. I wonder how my other self would react if she met him. That'd be a show worth watching. Kiyohime, meanwhile, gazed at Satria with unwavering adoration. My Dana-sama is so charming. As expected of my husband. Valyana smirked. See that? That's my proud hubby you're looking at. Albion couldn't resist teasing her. Wasn't he your weird hubby just a moment ago? Are you perhaps a tsundere partner? Shut up, stupid dragon. Valyana snapped, her cheeks turning crimson. Kurumi, watching from the sidelines, licked her lips seductively. My, this is why I can't leave him. Satria is so fascinating, so irresistible. Fran, observing quietly, smiled faintly. My lord is destined for greatness and I'll do whatever it takes to support him. Konako's ears twitched as she leaned against Satria, her eyes thoughtful. Senpai, who are you, really? What kind of past created someone like you? I want to know everything. Fatalis, meanwhile, plodded silently, her thoughts as dark as her draconic nature. How best to guide him to greatness? I'll have to ensure I'm always one step ahead. Turning to Naruto, Satria's tone softened. Last but not least, Dobe. Thanks for teaching my white kitten. Tell me what you want as a reward, I'll grant whatever your heart desires. Naruto crossed his arms, his face a mix of exasperation and unease. I didn't do it for a reward, brat. Konako's my sister-in-law now, so I helped her out of responsibility. His eyes narrowed. But if you really want to clear the debt, answer me this: why did you steal the Tesseract? And why were you involved in the war in the Middle East? That was you, wasn't it? The air grew heavy. Satria's family and companions exchanged shocked glances. Senpai, is that true? Konako asked hesitantly, her expression a mixture of disbelief and concern. Satria closed his eyes, sighing deeply. After a long pause, he looked up, his gaze steady. All right. You deserve the truth. He smirked faintly, though it didn't quite reach his eyes. Looks like I've got a new story to tell. To be continued. Chapter 99, Chapter 81. Gift from the Past. A moment of silence fell over the room as everyone waited for Satria to continue his untold story. With a snap of his fingers, a shimmering blue sphere materialized around them. Room, Satria declared calmly. Shambles. In an instant, the group found themselves transported into a grand meeting room. The sphere faded, leaving a lingering hum of energy that some, like Artoria, Kurika, and Baopan, couldn't quite grasp. The energy was foreign, neither mana, chakra, nor any force they could identify. Meanwhile, Satria reclined against Selena's soft, comforting embrace, her presence grounding him as he absent-mindedly patted Vaporeon's head. A faint glow of cosmic energy surrounded his hand, soothing the creature into a state of serene relaxation. Kiyohime, ever the devoted wife, stepped forward with a graceful bow. Danasama, allow me to serve something for our guests. Satria gave her a small nod. Go ahead. Golden sparks flickered around his body, and with a flash, a perfect replica of himself appeared beside her. You, he addressed the clone, go with Kiyohime and ask Baban to help prepare a banquet for our guests. Make sure it's something appetizing. Aye, boss. The clone saluted playfully before disappearing with Kiyohime to the kitchen. Satria turned back to the group, leaning into Selena's embrace once more. Now, where to begin? Let's talk about my religion first. Some of you may already know I'm a follower of the second largest religion on this planet. Since birth, I've second largest. Peter Parker interrupted, his curiosity piqued. You mean Islam? I've heard about it on the news. Not to be rude, but it's often portrayed negatively where I come from. I never bought into that, though. I've always believed that every group has good and bad people. Satria smiled warmly. You're wise, Peter Parker. Your family and your country are fortunate to have someone like you. If more people in America thought as you do, the world would be a far more peaceful place. Peter's face reddened slightly at the unexpected praise, but he scratched the back of his head with a sheepish grin. Well, I just try to see the good in people, you know. Kurika tilted her head, her ears twitching in curiosity. Nay. I never imagined you'd be the type to worship a god. What's Islam? I've never heard of it before. Religion isn't really a thing in my world. The others from the DxD universe nodded in agreement, their expressions mirroring Kurika's curiosity. For them, concepts like gods and belief systems were tied to tangible deities they could interact with, not unseen entities. Satria family had occasionally seen Satria perform his daily prayers, but he never pressured anyone to join him. His only advice was simple: if you're curious, read the Quran. That's all you need to do. Artoria, ever the knight and seeker of truth, folded her arms and regarded Satria critically. I, too, am curious. Why do you go out of your way to help people who have no relation to you? What is your true motive? Do you desire to be worshipped as a savior? The question hung in the air, and Satria fell silent, his gaze distant. Since reincarnating into this body, his perspective had shifted. The fusion of his soul with Shin's memories often left him conflicted. Shin's life had been fraught with pain, abandoned by his parents, suspected to be the product of a one-night stand, and bullied mercilessly for being different. While his father provided financial support and a roof over his head, Shin had been left to navigate the harshness of the world alone. The weight of loneliness and rejection had twisted Shin's soul, filling it with bitterness and resentment. But now, with their souls intertwined, Satria could see the world through both their eyes, his own hardened resolve tempered by Shin's yearning for kindness and understanding. Deep down, I know I'm far from a good person, perhaps even worse than most. Yet, that night, everything began to change. As I lay sleeping beside my wife, a strange whisper echoed through my dreams. Go to Palestine. The voice was calm but insistent, its words etched into my mind even as I woke. My heart raced. I knew that name. It was a place that existed in my previous life, a place I had only heard about but never truly understood. Without wasting any time, I decided to act. The journey was swift, but nothing could have prepared me for what awaited. When I arrived, I was horrified by the scenes unfolding before my eyes. This wasn't war, it was carnage. The most technologically advanced nation on the planet was mercilessly carrying out acts of genocide, reducing entire families to ash and rubble. Children screamed in terror, parents clung to lifeless bodies, their cries swallowed by the chaos. In every war, it's always the innocent who suffer the most. I knew from my past knowledge that this conflict had raged on for decades, its roots tangled deep in politics, religion, and history. And yet, the world's most powerful nations did nothing but fuel the fire. They supplied weapons to both sides, ensuring the cycle of violence continued endlessly. No genuine efforts were made for peace. Flashback. How can anyone expect peace when they perpetuate this madness? I muttered bitterly to myself. The more I watched, the more my disgust grew. I refused to waste time reasoning with fools and lunatics who thrived on bloodshed. The historical irony wasn't lost on me either. This land was once under British control, a consequence of conquest. When they handed it over, claiming it belonged to Israel by some historical decree, they left a legacy of division and suffering. The complexities of this situation were enough to make anyone despair. Part of me wanted to turn away, to leave this mess behind. But my feet carried me forward, driven by an unexplainable pull. I found myself approaching one of the most sacred places in the region, a mosque. Israeli police patrolled its perimeter, forbidding entry to those they deemed unworthy. Their presence was oppressive, a visible reminder of the tension that hung in the air like a storm cloud. But they couldn't stop me. With ease, I slipped past them, moving unseen. To the outside world, I was a ghost. Inside the mosque, I expected to find a sanctuary of stone and silence. But what greeted me was something far beyond my imagination. The moment I stepped through the doors, the scenery shifted. The mosque's walls dissolved, replaced by a sprawling, vibrant forest. Towering trees stretched toward a luminescent sky painted with hues of gold and blue. The air was alive with the scent of earth and flowers, and the gentle rustle of leaves whispered secrets older than time. As I stood there, mesmerized, a figure emerged from the trees. He was a man of regal yet humble bearing, dressed in a traditional Javanese outfit. His presence radiated serenity, his every movement deliberate and graceful. A soft smile adorned his face, one that carried warmth and understanding, as if he knew why I had come before I could even speak. "Welcome," he said gently, his voice carrying timeless wisdom. I stared, unsure of what to say. The weight of what I had witnessed outside clung to me like a shadow, and yet, here in this place, that burden felt lighter. "Who are you?" I finally managed, my voice barely above a whisper. The man's smile widened slightly. "I am but a guide," he said. "And you are here to learn." His words filled the air, resonating deeply within me. Whatever this place was, whatever this encounter meant, I knew one thing for certain: this was no ordinary meeting. "Hey? Wait, you're the voice from my dream, the one that told me to come to this country." The man nodded, a gentle smile on his face. "Yes, it was me. I've been watching over you since the day you were born, young man. I must apologize for being unable to save you from that incident. Something prevented me from interfering, and I could only watch as your soul was taken to another world." Satria's brow furrowed. "Watching over me? Why?" "My name is Sunan Kalajaga," the man replied calmly. "Kalajaga? Wait, you're the Sunan Kalajaga? One of the 9 saints of Javanese who spread Islam across Indonesia." Satria's eyes widened in shock. "I've read about you. But I never imagined I'd meet you, and you've been watching over me? Why? Also, how did you manage to follow me to this world?" Sunan Kalajaga's smile grew wider. "Everything happens by the will and decree of our Creator, young man. As for why?" He chuckled softly. "Do I need a reason to protect my descendant?" "Descendant?" Satria exclaimed, stepping back in disbelief. "You're saying I'm your descendant? I don't believe you, old man. And I don't need protection from anyone." He turned to his ring. "Doraemon, help me confirm if this guy is telling the truth." "Affirmative, and please stop calling me that nickname. The host has both DNA compatibility and a spiritual connection with the man before you." Satria stared at the ring, then back at Sunan Kalajaga. "Seriously? So you're my old man's old man? Ha 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 ha." Sunan Kalajaga burst into laughter. "Yes, you're very much like me, young Satria. When I was your age, I was wild and reckless. I gambled, stole money, drank until I couldn't stand, and even killed those who angered me. My actions led to my exile from my noble house. It wasn't until I met my teacher, an old but wise man, that I found the right path." "What? Don't lump me in with you. I'm not that bad," Satria retorted, his voice tinged with indignation. A figure suddenly emerged from Satria's body, a woman with striking blue hair in a sharp business uniform. Fatalis surveyed Sunan Kalajaga with a calm but amused expression. "As I suspected, following you was the right decision, husband. I see now where you get your eccentric traits." Sunan Kalajaga raised a brow. "Eccentric, am I?" He sighed, adjusting his demeanor. "Forgive me. Old habits are hard to break. You have a lovely wife, Satria. Do you plan to convert her and your family to Islam like us?" "Ara, thank you for the compliment," Fatalis replied with a playful smile. "But let's consider that later, shall we?" Satria shook his head. "It's up to them. I don't force my beliefs on others. We Indonesians have a saying, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, unity in diversity. Everyone has the right to their own path." Sunan Kalajaga clapped his hands together in delight. "An excellent answer. Indonesians should respect the beliefs of others. Seeing the intolerance and division in this world pains my heart, especially when Muslims turn against one another." "I completely agree," Satria said, nodding solemnly. "We should embody the faith through our actions, not force." The saint's smile softened. I'm proud of you, my descendant. But my time here is limited. I came to this place to meet you because this mosque allows me to manifest. Listen carefully to my last words, life should be light. Use your power to bring gifts to others. If you seek happiness, start by giving it to others. Do what you believe is right, and trust that you'll grow into a better person than you are today. He placed a hand on Satria's shoulder, offering him a reassuring smile. And Fatalis, I leave my grandchild in your care. Fatalis grinned. Leave him to me, old man. As Sunan Kalajaga faded into a radiant light, the scenery returned to normal. Satria rubbed his chin, a spark of excitement in his eyes. A gift, hey? What did he leave me? The answer came almost instantly. Host acquired new resistances, darkness, fire, and spiritual attacks. New skill, Shadow Walk, grants invisibility and phase movement until an action is performed. New skill, Friendly Shadow, applies Shadow Walk to allies. New skill, Hand of Kalajaga, transmutes any object into gold and allows control over it. New skill, Devotion, at critical moment, the host becomes an invulnerable spirit for 10 seconds with amplified healing and empowering effects. What the hell, Doraemon? Couldn't you have let me discover that on my own? Satria groaned. Fatalis smirked. What kind of ridiculous powers are these? Invisibility, gold manipulation, and immortality for 10 seconds? Your ring is the MVP here, husband. Be grateful. Before Satria could reply, an Israeli soldier burst into the room, rifle raised. Freeze! How did you two get in here? We busted so fast. You don't have the talent to be a ninja, dear. Fatalis clung to Satria, pretending to tremble. Darling, are we going to be okay? These guys don't look friendly. Satria rolled his eyes, muttering, Jawa Offalaner Suram main assassin, Mana Bisa. Relax, my love. As long as I'm here, no one will lay a finger on my beautiful black dragon. Fatalis cooed, pinching his cheek. Ah, Papa's so cool. Gems Banjit. The soldiers exchanged baffled looks as Satria smirked. Let's wrap this up quickly. In a flash of blue energy, the leaders of Palestine and Israel found themselves in a dimly lit chamber, surrounded by an otherworldly aura. The air was heavy with power, and before them stood a young man with a commanding presence. Who are you? Demanded the Prime Minister of Israel, his voice trembling. The Palestinian leader joined in, his tone more cautious but equally curious. And why have you brought us here? The man's calm demeanor cracked slightly, his eyes narrowing in frustration. My name is Satria, he said simply. What is the meaning of this? The Israeli leader pressed. What's your purpose? Satria's expression darkened, and a faint, oppressive aura filled the room. You both serve the same God, he said, his voice echoing with restrained anger. And yet, you slaughter each other. Why? For what purpose? Both leaders began speaking at once, each giving their reasons, their justifications. Words like history, survival, land, justice, and defense filled the air, escalating into heated rhetoric. Satria's patience snapped. Enough! The room quaked as a surge of his supreme aura flooded the space. The Israeli Prime Minister stumbled back, trembling. You're a meta-human, he stammered. What business does your kind have in this matter? Shut up, Satria said coldly, his voice cutting through the tension like a blade. I'm here for my brothers and sisters in faith. The Palestinian leader's eyes widened in realization. Then, you're Muslim? I can't believe we have someone like you on our side. Satria's gaze shifted to him, unflinching. I'm not on your side the way you think, he said bluntly. But tell me, do we really need to prolong this conflict? How much longer will you make your people suffer? The Palestinian leader's face hardened. And what do you intend to do? Finish us both off? No, Satria replied, his voice low and resolute. From now on, I want both of you to find peace. Or. The Israeli Prime Minister glared at him. Or what? What are you going to do? Satria's eyes burned with determination. I'll destroy both of you. So that nobody wins. Madness. The Palestinian leader's voice rose in shock. Are you willing to betray your own kind? Think of the consequences. Satria remained unfazed. I'm not betraying anyone. But I'm ready to bear the sin if it means ending this endless cycle of death and hatred. The Israeli leader sneered. You think you can stand against us? Against the USA and our allies? We won't stay silent. Who do you think you are? Satria took a step forward, his presence almost suffocating. Who am I? He leaned closer, his voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. I'm just a man tired of watching pieces of shit like you two warmongers make the innocent suffer. The chamber was silent, save for the crackling energy surrounding Satria. His next words were spoken with chilling finality. Mark my words, if you don't stop this senseless war, I will end it. Permanently. The leaders of Palestine and Israel sat together in an undisclosed location, their faces marked with a mixture of tension and anticipation. Though enemy for decades, they now found themselves united by the words of a mysterious man who had abducted them days prior. He had promised them a miracle, something that would force them to reconsider their choices. And then it happened. A massive blue figure Ultraman Cosmos descended from the sky, radiating a calming, otherworldly light. The battlefield, once littered with the cries of the wounded and the debris of destroyed homes, became a scene of astonishment. He raised his glowing hand, and a wave of energy spread across the land. Injured children, parents, and soldiers were bathed in the light, their wounds closing as tears of disbelief streamed down their faces. Crumbling buildings reassembled, standing taller and stronger than before. The war-torn landscape transformed into a vision of harmony and renewal. The two leaders watched in stunned silence, their breaths caught in their throats. Who the hell is he? The Israeli Prime Minister whispered, his voice barely audible. The Palestinian leader shook his head, his eyes locked on the giant. This is miraculous. If what he said is true, then perhaps. Their gazes met, and for the first time in years, there was no hostility, only realization. The Israeli Prime Minister sighed, his expression softening. I think we must consider uniting our nations and putting an end to this war. The Palestinian leader nodded slowly. To think I'd ever agree with you. But perhaps he is the savior we've been waiting for all along. The Israeli leader hesitated. Do you think he's the promised one? The one spoken of in our scriptures? Who knows? The Palestinian leader exhaled deeply, the weight of years of conflict pressing on his shoulders. But one thing is clear, if there is even a chance for peace, we cannot let it slip away. The two men stood, a shared determination in their eyes. We'll need a new name, the Israeli leader said after a moment. A name that symbolizes this unity he spoke of. The Palestinian leader smirked faintly. Polis-Rael, wasn't it? It's not that bad, actually. The Israeli Prime Minister chuckled, shaking his head. Not bad at all. Polis-Rael, a nation where we can coexist, at last. They extended their hands to each other, sealing an unspoken agreement. Outside, the miraculous figure of Ultraman Cosmos faded into the horizon, leaving behind a transformed land and, perhaps, the first seeds of true peace. Flashback end. Islam means achieving peace with God, peace within oneself, and peace with all of God's creations through wholly submitting oneself to Him, Satria explained with a lazy shrug. It's similar to Christianity in many ways, but also different. As for my reasons for helping them, I'll let my actions speak louder than my words. Are you saying both religions are practically the same? Kurika's ears twitched in irritation. And don't even think about converting my sweet little sister to your religion. I won't let you force her to believe in your God, you hear me? Her distrust of religious devotees was evident. In her world, they were often zealots who labeled anyone outside their beliefs as heretics and crushed them without mercy. Satria chuckled softly, understanding her misgivings. I get what you're trying to say, Kurika. There are extremists in every faith, people who twist religion into something ugly. But where I come from, it's different. We have philosophical values that unite an incredibly diverse population, hundreds of ethnic groups, cultures, languages, and religions. We've managed to live together in harmony under a shared principle of mutual respect. And no, I won't force anyone to convert. Faith should come from the heart, not coercion. Kurika narrowed her eyes. A harmonious land of diversity? Sounds like a utopia straight out of a fantasy novel. Are you sure this place even exists? What's your country's name? Artoria leaned forward, intrigued. I'd also like to know. Such a country sounds too good to be true. Satria grinned, puffing out his chest with pride. Of course, it exists. I'm a proud citizen of this land, and my country exists in your world too. Want to know its name? Everyone nodded, their curiosity piqued. Satria struck a dramatic pose, his voice booming with patriotic fervor. The name of my homeland is Indonesia. The room fell silent for a moment. I've never heard of that country, Artoria said bluntly, her expression deadpan. Same Naya. Kurika chimed in, scratching her head. Where is it even located? Konako-chan, do you know anything about your boyfriend's homeland? Konako shook her head, equally clueless. Sorry, Nae-sama, but I don't. Baopon tilted her head thoughtfully. Master, do you know of this? Indonesia. Peter Parker's face lit up. Oh, I know. It's a small island country near Bali. One of my college buddies went there for vacation. Satria froze, his eye twitching. A small island country. Bali is part of Indonesia. And my country is not small. The group couldn't help but laugh at his outburst. There, Kurumi cooed, walking over to stroke his hair in mock consolation. I know about your homeland, pup. Don't be sad, okay? Satria's eyes lit up. Really? Of course, Kurumi said sweetly, then smirked. I also know that my country has a higher GDP than yours. But don't worry, we still love you, flaws and all. Satria glared at her, his face turning red. You bully! Don't bring up the economy, you horrible woman! He sighed, taking a deep breath to calm himself. Fine. Next question, before I start ranting again. Are you going to pick a side, brat? Naruto crossed his arms, his tone serious. With your power, you could turn the tide of war between these two countries. But will you? Someone like you should know the risks. Siding with Palestine means waging war against NATO. Are you ready for that kind of fallout? Satria smirked, unbothered by Naruto's warning. Before he could respond, Fatalis stepped forward, her voice calm but assertive. Haven't you been listening, Naruto-san? My husband already made it clear we're neutral. We only side with the innocent. If you don't believe us, check the latest news on the internet. See for yourself. Naruto raised an eyebrow but pulled out his phone to check. His face turned pale as he read the breaking news. Others, curious about his reaction, gathered around him to see what had him so stunned. Naruto raised an eyebrow but pulled out his phone to check. His face turned pale as he read the breaking news. Others, curious about his reaction, gathered around him to see what had him so stunned. Breaking news. The President of Israel approves ceasefire talks with Palestinian leaders to discuss unity. Clouds over Israel and Palestine form miraculous words, make love, not war. War victims healed and destroyed buildings rebuilt by a mysterious entity. Reports of a golden savior appearing in dreams, calling for peace or doom. Is God among us? Naruto's jaw dropped as he scrolled through the articles, his disbelief evident. What in Rikudo's name? He looked at Satria, his eyes wide. You're insane, but this is the right kind of insanity. Peter chimed in, his voice filled with hope. Does this mean the war is really over? Big brother Satria, you've done something extraordinary. Valyana stepped closer, a proud smile on her face. This is why I love him. Satria isn't just a man of power, he's a man of heart. He acts when it matters. Kurumi, ever playful, leaned into Satria, her lips brushing close to his ear as she whispered. We all know he's a man of action. And for what you've done, beloved, you deserve a reward instead of punishment. Be ready tonight, she winked, her mischievous smile making Satria blush. Fran, standing quietly to his left, moved closer. Her expression softened, and she gently patted his head, a rare show of affection. You've done well, my lord. Good boy, she said, her voice tender yet teasing. Satria scratched the back of his neck, trying to mask his embarrassment as his girls continued to fawn over him. All right, enough with the praise. I just did what anyone with power should do. Naruto shook his head, a grin spreading across his face. You're something else, Satria. You turned an impossible situation into hope. I'll admit you've earned my respect. Konako's eyes narrowed slightly, curiosity evident in her tone. Why, senpai? Why go out of your way to help them? They're total strangers to you, yet you used so much of your power. I can feel it. What you've done probably cost you a lot. Satria leaned back, his hands casually behind his head, flashing a confident grin. Simple, some people just need a cosmic kick in the ass. Yeah, it drained a bit of my energy, but it was worth it, wasn't it? His voice softened slightly as he continued, Indonesia has always been an ally of Palestine. But I don't hate Jews either. I've had Jewish friends back in my pro-gaming days. It's not wise to judge an entire group for the actions of a few. He glanced at Konako, his tone now carrying a deeper weight. In Islam, no matter where you're from, once you're a Muslim, we're brothers and sisters. It's an obligation to help those in need. In my faith, everyone is equal status, race, or background doesn't matter. Kurika gave a small smile, crossing her arms as she leaned back. Geez, you're just like hubby, she teased. Always rushing headfirst into problems without worrying about the consequences. But her voice trailed off as she gave a rare look of approval. At least my little sister is in good hands. Suddenly, the door slid open, and Kiyohime and Baban entered, carrying trays of food. Lunch is ready, Kiyohime announced with a warm smile. The mouth-watering aroma of ramen and oolong tea filled the room, making the gluttons Naruto, Artoria, Valyana, Konako, and Fran nearly drool in anticipation. Artoria's gaze caught something peculiar. Wait, is that sword walking? How is that possible? She asked, pointing at Baban, who was delivering bowls of ramen. Kiyohime chuckled at Artoria's bewildered expression. Era that can be discussed later. Right now, enjoying the food in front of you is far more important, don't you think? Artoria nodded quickly. Agreed. Food first, questions later. Naruto grinned, already pulling a bowl closer. Right you are, Artoria. Thanks, Kiyohime-chan. This smells like the food of the gods. Era, don't thank me. I only prepared the ingredients, Kiyohime replied with a playful smile. Kurika tilted her head, curious. Hey? Then who actually cooked this amazing-looking ramen? Before Kiyohime could answer, the door swung open again, and Satria's clone entered, holding a salad in the shape of a flying bull from the Avatar series. Look what I made, girls. Culinary genius, right? he proclaimed proudly. The room fell silent, and everyone's sweat dropped at the sight of the absurdly decorated salad. Baban face-palmed. Mighty stupid, that's what you are. Stop playing with food, you idiot. Kurika blinked, astonished. Wait, not only is he powerful, but he can cook too. Valyana smirked, folding her arms. Hee. That's my hubby for you. Once you taste his cooking, you'll feel like you've entered another world. Kurika grinned mischievously, nudging Konako. Konako-chan, you better not let him go. Mark him as yours and give me a nephew already. Konako's face turned bright red, and she turned away, flustered. En-ne-sama. Stop saying embarrassing things. Fatalis chuckled softly, watching the antics unfold. Her gaze lingered on Satria, a thoughtful smile forming on her lips. I'll never grow tired of him. Could he be the legendary Satria Pinanjit, the prophesied figure from Jayabaya's prophecy, destined to lead a revolution before the end of the world? Whatever the case, my love, I'll stand by your side and follow you to the ends of the earth. To be continued. Chapter 100, Chapter 82. Dance in the moonlight. The sea breeze rolled gently across the balcony of the luxurious Bali resort, carrying with it the distinct scent of salt water and fresh ocean air. Satria stood there, gazing out at the vibrant blue horizon, a faint smile on his lips. Ah, the wondrous sea of Bali! I haven't been here since middle school. His voice carried a nostalgic tone as the crashing waves provided a soothing backdrop. You did well, my friend. My family will be pleased. Behind him stood William, visibly elated, though not just because of the idyllic scenery. It's the least I can do for my savior, he said, a note of gratitude in his voice. And as promised, I've acquired part of Oscorp's shareholding. Honestly, how did you even make that possible? Satria grinned, his eyes still fixed on the horizon. Let's just say, I know how to be persuasive. Enjoy the fruits of your new status, William. Consider it a win-win. Elsewhere, in a dark, fortified hideout filled with surveillance cameras and armed guards, Norman Osborn sat in a state of paranoia. His hands trembled as he frantically monitored every corner of his lair through countless screens. He's everywhere. How is he everywhere? I can't live like this anymore. His voice cracked with desperation as he slammed his fist on the desk. Suddenly, a voice whispered in the shadows. Boo! Norman shrieked, spinning around to see Satria casually leaning against the wall, smirking. How did you find me? What do you want from me? Norman's voice was high-pitched and trembling. I've given you everything you asked for. Please, just leave me alone. His face contorted with anguish. And give me back my pride. Satria's smirk widened, his tone dripping with mockery. Puny goblin. Your pride? Oh, that thing. I might have thrown it into a trash can. Or maybe a pigsty. Can't quite recall. How about forgetting it and embracing your new future? Ever considered being transgender? Norman's face twisted in fury and humiliation. You must be joking. I can't live without it. And yet I can still feel it. Somewhere, somehow. Please. Tell me what I need to do to make you stop tormenting me. Satria laughed, his voice cold and sharp. How does it feel, Norman? To face someone untouchable by the law? To be utterly powerless? You used to feel so superior, didn't you? This is just a taste of the punishment you deserve. Norman's voice shook, his desperation palpable. If you destroy me, my company, the world will lose a beacon of technological advancement. Oscorp's innovations have saved lives, cured diseases. You all need me. Coming from someone who secretly funded Hydra? That's rich, Norman. Satria's eyes glinted dangerously. Norman hesitated before speaking, his voice strained. There's no progress without sacrifice. No science without risk. You don't have to like it, but it's the truth. Satria's expression darkened. His silence spoke volumes, but his mind was racing. He knew Norman wasn't entirely wrong. Hydra's horrific experiments had yielded cures for rare diseases. But the ends did not justify the means. Without warning, Satria extended his hand, channeling invisible threads of mana and speed force energy to bind Norman. The threads wrapped around his neck, restricting his movements. What are you doing? Norman's voice rose in panic as his arms twisted unnaturally, the sound of cracking bones filling the room. Stop. I'm sorry. Please, I beg you to stop this right now. Norman pleaded, but Satria's gaze was as cold as ice. You don't get to beg, Satria said, his voice low and menacing. You've caused untold suffering, Norman. What I'm doing to you is nothing compared to what your victims endured. Norman whimpered, his fear mounting. What are you going to do to me? Satria leaned in, his voice barely above a whisper. I'm going to show you what happened to the scientists who vanished in Hydra's sinister projects. No matter your answer, you're going to see it. Norman's eyes widened in sheer terror as Satria dragged him into the darkness, exposing him to the horrors he had enabled. When the light returned, Norman Osborn, once the infamous Green Goblin, was no more. His sanity had crumbled, his mind shattered by the weight of the atrocities he had been forced to confront. For the first time, the villain who had struck fear into so many now understood the meaning of true, primal terror. Satria stepped away, his expression unreadable as he looked down at what was left of his once powerful adversary. Justice takes many forms, he thought. You'll never harm anyone again. And with that, Satria disappeared into the shadows, leaving behind a broken man in a silent lair. Satria leaned against the balcony railing, the warm Bali breeze brushing past him. With practice ease, he lit a cigarette after a week-long hiatus. He exhaled a plume of smoke, muttering to himself, finally. My mouth was so acidic that I couldn't stand it for a week. Memories of his single days flashed through his mind, days when he could do what he wanted without anyone breathing down his neck. He glanced behind him to ensure no one from his household was around. The girls had banned him from smoking, claiming it was bad for his health, and any slip-up meant long, boring lectures about self-care. These days, he had to hide his stash and indulge in secret. He offered the pack to William with a sly grin. Want one? William raised an eyebrow, then took the pack, examining it. Sampoerna mild? Good taste, boss. He lit up and joined Satria, their smoke trails mingling in the breeze. I've been meaning to ask you something. Mind if I get a little personal? Sure, shoot. William inhaled deeply, then exhaled. Your face says foreigner, but your accent. It's pure Surabaya. How's that possible? I spent years there studying, so I know the accent well. And, why'd you pick me out of all the people to help you? Satria smirked. Oh, that? I am from Surabaya, Mas bro. You sound like a Chindo from Surabaya yourself. Unbelievable. William chuckled, shaking his head. Not exactly. I grew up in North Sumatra and only moved to Surabaya for university. My family was poor, so I had to juggle part-time jobs to make ends meet and finish my studies. But with the help of my wife, friends, and family, I managed to start my company. Now, I get to give back to them and my country. Respect, Lai. Pelin Ae, step by step, you've done something amazing. Satria gave him a thumbs up. As for why I chose you? It's purely coincidence. You happened to be in the right place at the right time. Plus, I needed someone reliable to help me navigate here. You're a great man, William. William smiled modestly. Thanks, boss. It's nice to hear that. By the way, where do you live now? And, what are you exactly? Satria exhaled smoke slowly before replying. What you see is what you get. I'm human, with a few unique gifts. And I'm living in Japan now with my family. My wife's from there. William blinked. Wait, hold up. So that Japanese girl I met, Kurumi, is your wife? I thought she was just your girlfriend. Bro, I used to be a huge anime fan back in the day. Gimme razania punya istri anime, boss. Satria laughed, scratching the back of his head. They're beautiful, sweet, and adorable, sure, but... He paused, remembering his wife's more eccentric traits. Never mind. Let's just say they're my everything. William's curiosity wasn't satisfied. Wait, they? Are you telling me you're practicing polygamy? In Japan? Of all places? You know how ridiculously expensive everything is there, right? Are you nuts? How many wives are we talking about here? Satria counted on his fingers. 6? Not too many, right? Tapi jangan khawatir, pejantan tangga ni, brother tayan banting dunya akhirat. He grinned proudly. By the way, how's that McLaren order I requested? And the certificate for my private land in Surabaya? Japan's nice and all, but nothing beats home sweet home, right? William stared at him, stunned. 6? Ngok banyak apanya, coke. Whatever you say, boss, good luck managing your drama harem. One wife is already a handful, let alone 6. William shook his head in disbelief, the thought of balancing that many relationships making him shudder. Satria grinned. It's all about mindset, bro. You just have to adapt. Sure. Whatever helps you sleep at night. William paused for a moment, his thoughts shifting. Also, I can't stay too long in Japan. Sure, the infrastructure is amazing, but everything feels so fast-paced and individualistic. It's not exactly suited for laid-back people like us, Indonesian. Yep. Japan might not be the best place to live long-term, but for a holiday? That's a whole different story. Satria leaned back, exhaling a puff of smoke with a chuckle. No pungly here, Coke. You don't have to slip a sneaky bill just to get things moving. William laughed along, nodding in agreement. True that, boss. The efficiency here is insane. No random fees popping up out of nowhere. It's refreshing. But, Satria continued, smirking, it's also why everything here feels a bit too clean. Like, where's the hustle? You know, the kind that makes life in Indo so lively. William raised an eyebrow. Lively? You mean the kind of chaos where a cop pulls you over for no reason, and you settle it over a gornan and a 50,000 note? Exactly. Satria pointed at him, laughing. It's like an unspoken culture. A little game, Moss bro. You play, they play, everyone is happy. Except your wallet, William quipped, shaking his head. Hey, at least you're contributing to the local economy, Satria joked with a wink. Call it grassroots support. William sighed, unable to hold back a grin. You really do have a way of making the strangest things sound logical, boss. But seriously, why do you even want that car so badly? A Porsche is better, if you ask me. And you have super speed. Isn't this just a waste of money? Satria smirked, puffing out his chest with pride. It's not about practicality, Lay. It's for silent those FOMO kids on the internet. You know the ones. When they ask, which color McLaren do you have? I can smugly reply, red. Pure flex, Coke. William stared at him, dumbfounded. Seriously? You're buying a luxury car just to flex on strangers? Satria shrugged, a mischievous grin spreading across his face. Pamer dikat ngok dosa, gone? Besides, it's not like I'm spending my last penny. I'm just securing my throne as the crazy rich of Surabaya and beyond." William groaned, shaking his head. "You're something else, boss. If I didn't know better, I'd say you're just a big kid playing with expensive toys." "Hey! Don't act like you're not tempted," Satria teased, elbowing him. "I bet if you had something cool, you'd be posting it all over social media too. Admit it, Moss bro." William let out a resigned laugh, shaking his head. "You're impossible, boss. But I'll give you this: you sure know how to live life on your own terms. Respect for that. Just don't come crying to me when the tax collectors show up and start demanding their cut after finding out about your antics." Satria froze mid-puff, scratching his head with a sheepish grin. "Oh, crap! I totally forgot about those bloodsuckers." He let out a dramatic sigh, leaning back as if the weight of bureaucracy suddenly crashed down on him. "Thanks for the reminder, Lei. Guess I'll need to bribe my accountant with more coffee. Or snacks. Or both." William smirked, clearly enjoying Satria's reaction. "See? Even you can't escape the grind. Chaos might be your brand, but taxes? That's the ultimate boss fight." Satria laughed, shaking his cigarette like a philosopher holding a cigar. "True, true. But hey, life's too short to play by everyone else's rules, right? Sometimes you've got to sprinkle a little madness into the order. Keeps things exciting and gives those taxmen something to work for." William raised his cigarette in a mock toast. "To chaos and order then, boss. Just make sure the chaos doesn't end with a summons." "Deal," Satria said with a wink, clinking his cigarette against William's. "As long as you help me hide my stuff when things get too hot." "Ha! Don't drag me into your mess," William replied with a laugh. "But honestly, you're the weirdest guy I've ever met, and somehow, that's not a bad thing." Satria grinned proudly. "Weird? Nah, Coke. I'm just living the Genkik way." Homestay, Kyoto, Japan. The family of Satria gathered in the cozy living room, sharing a warm, playful atmosphere. "Naya! Please, stop this immediately, like thou." Fran and Konako, the two feline members of the family, were caught in Kurumi's affectionate embrace. Soft hands stroked their chins and collars, leaving the black and white cats squirming under her relentless adoration. "It's okay, don't be afraid. Soon, we'll all be closer than ever." Kurumi cooed as she hugged the two cats tightly and took in their scents. So soft and comforting. Fran-chan smells like the wind and forest, so fitting for an adventurer, while Konako-chan has this sugary, love-filled aura. "I really hit the jackpot by joining this family. Kurumi sure loves the cats, doesn't she?" Valyana said with a chuckle, munching on a bag of potato chips from her spot on the couch. "Well, it's her one chance," Fatalis quipped, her voice dripping with amusement. "Every other cat seems to bolt the moment she gets near them." Kurumi gasped, puffing her cheeks indignantly. "That's not true. Don't spread lies, Fatalis-san. Cats love me just as much as Fran-chan and Konako-chan do, right?" she asked, holding both squirming kittens closer. Fran, her patience wearing thin, let out a distressed yelp. I am not loving it. Release me at once, thou perverted woman." Meanwhile, Kiyohime entered the room gracefully, carrying neatly packed luggage. She set it down with precision, readying for their upcoming trip. "Thank you, Kiyohime-chan, as expected of the mother of this household." Fatalis exclaimed with a dramatic flourish, only for her cheek to be tugged painfully by Kiyohime's firm hand. "Och! Not so hard, Kiyohime-chan. You're going to rip it off!" Fatalis cried, comically flailing her arms. "You could at least help instead of lounging around," Kiyohime scolded, her serene smile hiding an aura of absolute authority. "Even Fran-chan and Konako-chan offered their help, while you were busy with your gadgets." But I'm not just playing. Look. Fatalis whipped out her laptop, showing a cluttered screen filled with technical diagrams and forums. I'm learning about cryptocurrency and blockchain. I'm going to revolutionize this world by creating a digital economy for DXD world where electronic cash doesn't exist yet. If I pull this off, we'll all be rolling in wealth, and I can finally achieve my dream becoming a sugar mommy for my puppy. Everyone stared at her with a mix of disbelief and curiosity. Wait, your puppy? Kurumi tilted her head. Are you talking about Satria? Of course. Who else? My goal is to spoil him rotten, Fatalis declared proudly, clasping her hands together with a dramatic flair. And I've even named my project, DRA Coin. With it, I'll control the world's economy from the shadows. Conquering with brute force is so mainstream. Kurumi's eyes sparkled mischievously. You're a truly evil dragon, Fatalis-san. My respect for you has increased. She leaned closer, licking her lips suggestively. How about we discuss this in more intimate settings? You know, for girl bonding. Fatalis smirked, clearly enjoying the tease. Why not? Strengthening bonds is important for a healthy family, after all. Call me anytime, Kurumi-chan. Behave, both of you. Kiyohime snapped, bringing her trusty folding fan down on their heads with swift precision. Stop corrupting the household with your perversion. Ah, sorry, Kiyohime-san, Kurumi pouted, rubbing her head. No need to be jealous, Kiyohime-chan, Fatalis teased, grinning devilishly. You and the others can join us later. The more, the merrier. At this, Kiyohime, Valyana, Konako, and Fran all flushed crimson, their faces resembling ripe tomatoes. Before the chaos could escalate further, a golden portal materialized in the middle of the room. Satria emerged with dramatic flair, cosplaying as a certain iconic character. He wore a glittering suit, sunglasses, and a fedora, belting out a Michael Jackson classic while executing perfect moonwalks and spins. He set up a portable speaker for karaoke, his voice echoing through the homestay as he danced with infectious energy. The room froze for a moment before erupting in laughter. Kiyohime pinched the bridge of her nose. Dear, what on earth are you doing? Satria grinned, striking a ridiculous pose. Living my best life, of course. Now, who wants to join me in this dance-off? Even Fran couldn't suppress a giggle as the family's antics continued in full swing. Albion sighed heavily in Satria's mind. Here we go again. The weirdo has arrived with his ridiculous get-up and over-the-top theatrics. The ancient dragon already braced himself, ready to mute the inevitable chaos that was about to unfold between Satria and his harem. Satria, undeterred by the reactions, strutted confidently into the room, microphone in hand. His smooth dance moves and playful energy immediately drew attention, especially when he sidled up to Kiyohime and hugged her flirtatiously. Kiyohime, long accustomed to her husband's antics, chuckled softly and played along, swaying lightly in his arms as he sang. My baby, you are on my mind. And I don't know why yet, but the feeling is fine. Can't you see? Honey, you are for me. Though it wasn't meant to be. With a wink and a flourish, Satria moved to Valyana and Fatalis. Taking their hands, he guided them into a dance. The proud white dragon emperor and the mischievous black dragon of calamity were flustered yet undeniably captivated. Their cheeks reddened, but their smiles betrayed their joy as they twirled alongside him. Dancin' in the moonlight. Gazing at the stars so bright. Holding you until the sunrise. Sleeping until midnight. When it was Kurumi's turn, Satria swept her off her feet in a dramatic princess carry, earning a startled yelp from the spirit. He kissed her forehead, his voice and charming smile making her heart skip a beat. Meanwhile, Fran and Konako, sitting nearby, couldn't resist purring as Satria patted their heads gently. Despite their usual composure, they were completely won over by his affectionate gestures and heartfelt words. Whenever I look into your eyes, that smile was crying that you were mine. Do you know your love is true? I know you are the best thing that's happened to me. As the performance concluded, Satria snapped his fingers, creating multiple clones of himself, each kneeling before his girls with a special gift in hand. Kyahim's gift, a stunning red kimono adorned with sakura patterns, infused with Satria's cosmic power for protection. Valyana's gift, a pair of gleaming blue twin axes purchased from the dimensional chat shop. Fatalis's gift, a miniature black dragon figure, intricately crafted by Medusa. Fran's gift, a pawpaw fruit, granting her the power to repel anything with her palms. Konako's gift, a pair of black gloves capable of turning anything she touched into a divine weapon. Kurumi's gift, a black lance with a life-stealing ability, formerly belonging to a powerful guardian. The girls' faces lit up with joy as they received their gifts. Dana-sama. Hubby. Darling. My lord. Senpai. Honey. They leaped at the real Satria, wrapping him in a group hug. Easy, girls, this is just my way of fulfilling my promise to reward your hard work after training, Satria said, grinning as he basked in their affection. Kiyohime kissed him lovingly on the lips. We're very grateful, Dana-sama. You spoil us too much. Valyana examined her new weapons. This white dragon emperor is more than pleased with her reward, she said, pecking him on the cheek. Fatalis, ever playful, patted his head with a warm smile. You're overdoing it, my boy, but Bunda loves this side of you. Fran, holding her pawpaw fruit, looked up curiously. My lord, thou mentioned this fruit grants me power, but what is it exactly? Satria nodded. The pawpaw fruit gives you the ability to repel anything using paws manifested on your palms. But be careful, it also makes you unable to swim unless you get the antidote from the shop. Fran's eyes gleamed with excitement. Thank thou, my lord. I shall consume it to grow stronger for thou and this family. Konako hesitated, holding her gloves. Senpai, are you sure about this? A divine weapon is too much for me. Satria knelt before her, placing a comforting hand on her head. Don't undervalue yourself, Konako. You're part of this family, and as the head of it, it's my duty to help you reach your fullest potential. Touched, Konako embraced him. Thank you, senpai. I'll treasure it forever. Kurumi twirled her lance, smirking. My. What a husband we have. You deserve all the love in the world, don't you agree, girls? The room buzzed with agreement as the girls closed in on Satria with mischievous intent. Hold on. You're not planning to do anything here, right? There are minors present. Satria stammered, backing away nervously. Fran smirked, activating her magic. Evolution skill, Black Tiger Heavenly Form. In an instant, she transformed into an adult version of herself, long hair, glowing red eyes, and a stunning, mature figure. She leaned in close, grabbing his chin. In my world, I am considered an adult. There is no problem with us having a closer relationship, my lord. Satria's face turned red as he glared at Fatalis. You. I know you taught her this. Fatalis whistled innocently, avoiding his gaze. Konako stepped forward, her voice steady. Senpai, we've waited long enough. Please, don't reject us. Caught between his girl's intense emotions and overwhelming affection, Satria sighed, realizing there was no escape. Where the hell is Baban when I need him? That useless sword always vanishes at crucial times. Satria averted his gaze, his face tinged with nervousness. Nope. We're not officially married, so I don't want to, have anything indecent happen with you both, yet. Fran and Konako's ears drooped as their faces sank with disappointment. Kurumi, however, smiled mischievously. Aira, you don't have to worry about that, my dear. Konako tilted her head curiously. What do you mean, Kurumi-san? Leaning closer, Kurumi whispered something to the two young kittens. Their expressions brightened almost instantly, excitement sparkling in their eyes. Satria noticed their change in demeanor and immediately grew suspicious. Oi! What are you planning? Fatalis smirked and winked at him. Nah, just leave it to us, dear. Trust me, you're going to love this. You've got to be kidding me, bro. Why? William adjusted his collar nervously, smiling apologetically. Sorry, boss. They cornered me. I couldn't refuse their orders. Your girls are terrifying when they gang up on someone. Satria pinched the bridge of his nose. You could have at least warned me. William gave a sheepish shrug. Kman, you're Muslim, right? This is the perfect moment to make it halal for everyone at once. Think of it as streamlining the process. Pack you. I was planning to propose to them one by one, in my own way, and now this happens. How did you even pull this off? Money. Lots and lots of money. With cash, anything is possible, boss. Hee hee. Satria sighed in resignation, standing in a traditional Javanese wedding outfit, its intricate gold and black patterns reflecting the soft light in the room. Of course. It's always money. Satria paced nervously in the ceremonial hall, waiting for his brides-to-be. He didn't have to wait long. Moments later, the doors opened, and his girls entered, each one adorned in a style that reflected their unique personalities and origins. Kiyohime walked gracefully in an elegant Japanese wedding kimono, the white fabric adorned with delicate sakura patterns. Kurumi, Fran, and Konako wore stunning Western-style wedding dresses, each with its own flair. Kurumi's dress was dramatic and black with red accents, Fran's was a pure white gown with subtle cat motifs, and Konako's was sleek and modern with a hint of lace. Finally, Fatalis stepped out with Valyana, both wearing traditional Javanese wedding dresses. The intricate details of the gold and batik patterns emphasized their enchanting, otherworldly beauty. Satria's jaw nearly dropped. You all look gorgeous. Are you sure about doing this privately? For now, yes, Fran replied confidently. Naruto-san and Master would never let us hear the end of it if they found out. Besides. She crossed her arms and smiled mischievously. Let's tell them when I'm of legal age in this world. For now, let's make our relationship official. Satria rubbed the back of his neck, chuckling nervously. Geez, you girls really are something else. Satria stood tall in the traditional Javanese attire, a combination of pride and nervousness evident in his posture. The room was prepared modestly but beautifully, with a serene atmosphere filled with blessings and prayers. His brides-to-be, each adorned in their unique cultural wedding dresses, sat across from him, their faces glowing with anticipation. The Ijab Kabul, Islamic marriage proposal and acceptance, began, overseen by a respected ustaz and witnessed by close friends who were in the know about this private ceremony. The ustaz addressed Satria formally. Satria bin Matsumi, do you accept the responsibility of marriage and promise to fulfill your duties as a husband under the guidance of Allah? Satria nodded and responded with a clear and firm voice, Sayaterima Nikana Kiyohime binti Matsumi, Valyana binti Matsumi, Kurumi binti Matsumi, Fatalis binti Matsumi, Fran binti Matsumi, Dan Konako binti Matsumi Dengan Mas Kain Tersbut Di By Artunau. The witnesses nodded in approval, and the ustaz smiled. Sa. With the marriage officially recognized, Satria stood and turned to his brides. One by one, he approached them, holding out a small velvet box for each. He first placed a delicate purple gold ring on Kiyohime's finger, her sakura-themed design reflecting her graceful demeanor. Kiyohime, he said, his voice soft but resolute, you are my guide and my calm. Thank you for always standing by me. Will you accept it as my token of eternal love? Her eyes glistened with tears, and she smiled softly. Yes, Dana-sama. I will treasure it forever. Next, he moved to Valyana. From the second box, he presented a delicate silver ring encrusted with sapphires. Valyuna, my white dragon emperor, you are my partner in both battle and life. This tiara reflects the regal strength and beauty you embody. Will you accept it as proof of my devotion? Valyuna chuckled, though her voice wavered with emotion. You truly know how to spoil me, darling. Of course, I accept. Next, he approached Kurumi, slipping a ruby-adorned ring onto her finger. Kurumi, my mischievous and loyal partner, life with you will never be boring. Thank you for being my joy. Fatalis came next. He held her hand and placed a bold dragon scale ring on her finger. Fatalis, my mischievous black dragon of calamity. You've taught me the importance of embracing chaos and finding joy in the unexpected. This ring represents the unbreakable bond we share. Will you accept it as a sign of my love? Fatalis grinned, her fiery eyes gleaming with excitement. My boy, you've done it again. How could I ever say no? Satria approached Kurumi next, unveiling a black rose-shaped ring studded with rubies. Kurumi, my queen of mischief and time. Your sharp wit and unwavering loyalty have been my greatest blessings. This ring symbolizes the passion and eternity of our love. Will you accept it? Kurumi's golden eyes sparkled as she took the ring, slipping it onto her finger. How bold of you, dear husband! I accept, with all my heart. Fran looked at him shyly as he approached her. Her feline-patterned ring glimmered as he slid it on her finger. Fran, my innocent yet determined little warrior. This ring represents your courage and the gentle heart hidden beneath your strength. Will you accept it as a reminder of my unwavering support for you? Fran's ears twitched, and she blushed deeply as she nodded. Yes, my lord. Thou hast my eternal loyalty. Finally, Satria faced Konako, whose cheeks were tinted red as she looked up at him. Her sleek white ring was a perfect match for her. Konako, my quiet yet fierce kitten. The ring are a symbol of the incredible potential I see in you. With them, I hope you'll always feel my belief in you. Will you accept it? Konako looked up at him, her eyes wide and filled with emotion. She nodded shyly. I will, senpai. Thank you. As he finished, Satria looked at all his wives, each now wearing or holding his token of love. They surrounded him, their smiles radiant and their hearts full. Well, it's done, Satria said with a soft chuckle. I guess I'm officially yours now. Wrong, Kurumi teased, wrapping her arms around his neck. We're officially yours. Kiyohime leaned in, her voice gentle yet firm. From this moment on, we'll always stand by your side, Dana-sama. In good times and bad. Valyuna smirked. You better be ready for this, hubby. You've married dragons, spirits, and warriors. There's no turning back now. Satria smiled warmly, pulling them all into a group hug. No turning back? Honestly, I wouldn't want it any other way. Kurumi chuckled, resting her chin on her hand as she glanced at Konako and Fran. It may sound illegal, but who cares? They love each other, and having catgirls as sisters is like living in a dream. She gave a sly grin, clearly enjoying the idea of the expanding family dynamic. Valyuna nodded in agreement, her excitement barely contained. Exactly. Besides, we know Satria isn't the type to mess around with people's feelings. But, are we really going to take this next step here? Fatalis leaned back with her signature smirk, brushing her hair aside dramatically. Of course not, silly. The private hotel room near the beach is perfect for what we have in mind. Right, Kurumi-chan? You've prepared everything, haven't you? Naturally, Kurumi replied, her golden eyes glinting mischievously. I wouldn't leave such an important moment to chance. And as for you, Kiyohime-san, you'll get to explore more of your Dana-sama's homeland cuisine while we're there. Kiyohime clasped her hands together, her expression one of both eagerness and contentment. Oh, that sounds perfect. Spending time together as a family and learning more about my Danasama's roots? Count me in. Satria, on the other hand, was less thrilled about where this was heading. His face betrayed his inner turmoil as he glanced between his brides-to-be. Wait, so this is happening for real? We're seriously doing this? All 6 of them nodded without hesitation, their expressions resolute. Oh no, Satria thought, breaking into a cold sweat. What have I gotten myself into? But Fran and Konako's ages are close to mine, right? And Fran is in her adult form. This isn't a crime, right? I'm not a lolicon. No way. Definitely not. Oh no. Why do they all look like they're ready to drain me of my very soul? This can't be good. Fatalis chuckled, picking up on his spiraling thoughts. Well, this calls for a new title for you, my dear boy. Let's make a list Tendosa Bizarre Pemain Blue Archive and put your name at the top. APA Moksudna Bawa Blue Archive. Satria snapped, his frustration boiling over. Pala Bapak Kau Tendosa Bizarre. And let me set the record straight, just because I play Blue Archive doesn't mean I'm some kind of lolicon. People act like that game is the worst, but Benson Impact is way more suspect. You all just blat. Blat. Blat, asterisk. The room erupted in laughter as Satria continued his rant, desperately trying to defend himself. Kurumi leaned into Fatalis, whispering, he's so easy to provoke. Valyana giggled. True, but it's part of his charm, isn't it? Kiyohime smiled gently, watching the chaos unfold. Danasama's passion is one of the things that make him so lovable. Fran tilted her head, confused but amused by the ongoing debate. What's this? Blue Archive thou speakest of? Is it some sort of sacred artifact? Konako, more in tune with modern culture, smirked slightly. No, Fran. It's just a mobile game. But apparently, it's enough to push Senpai over the edge. Satria groaned, throwing his hands in the air. I give up. You're all against me, aren't you? This is a conspiracy. Kurumi grinned wickedly, stepping closer to him. Aira, not at all, dear husband. We're just preparing you for what's to come. And trust me, it'll be worth it. Fatalis gave him a pat on the back, her teasing grin never wavering. Don't worry, my boy. We're not here to torture you, much. Just enjoy the ride. Satria sighed, realizing resistance was futile. These girls are going to be the death of me, he thought, though a small smile crept onto his lips. But I guess there are worse ways to go. To be continued. Chapter 101, Chapter 83. Give me a break. Satria groggily sat up, rubbing the sleep from his eyes. The sight before him was nothing short of surreal. 6 beautiful women sprawled naked across the bed, their bodies entwined with each other and with his own. A shiver ran down his spine as he remembered the wild, passionate night they had shared. Fuck. Now I'm done with Fran and Konako. How did the blonde idiot and stupid sword react? They both surely will come to kill me when they know about this. I must create a plan because I am not going down without a fight. We love each other and I don't care what people say about me being lolicon or another insult. I already made up my mind to take responsibility for her until the end of my life. Good morning, Fran purred, stretching languidly beside him. How are you feeling? Fran? It's a surprise you're the one first to wake up. How? You're feeling now? It's the best experience of my life. I never expected sex to be this wonderful. We should do it again next time. Oh. I am happy to hear that, Fran, so let me ask you this once again, are you sure you don't want to stay on my side? As you know, the outside world is not kind, and with me, I guarantee your life will be secure in everything from education, health assurance, money, and anything you need. What's your answer? Satria still has not given up on inviting Fran to live with him and begin a new life far from danger. I am sorry, but allow me to decline your kind offer, for now, my lord, to be someone worthily called your blade I must exceed the normal, and I want to learn about the world where I was born first before leaving it to stay with you forever. Fran's answer was still unshakable, and Satria understood Fran was not an ordinary girl who needed to be cuddled, or maybe not. "Cici, can you hug me while patting my head? I love it when you do it to me. Anything for my lovely blade." Satria does as she wishes until someone behind Fran looks at him with jealousy. "Not fair. I want you to love me too, senpai," Konako said. "Wait for your turn, Konako, as I am the one who wakes up first, so I should be loved first by him," Fran smirked at Konako. "You leave me no choice." Konako touched the sensitive part of Fran and licked her neck. "Then let me join the fun, Fran-san. Who is your favorite cat, senpai? Me or her?" Stop it, ah! Don't touch that spot, Konako. HN. Fran does not expect this surprise attack, and Fran's love juice begins to flow. "Well, to answer your question, I love it when you both rub your vagina together to mine. For me, you both are tied for now." He loves it, hey. "I think we have a synergy between us, so let's get along with Fran-san," Konako said to her rival. "You're not bad yourself, having you as a rival and sister may not be bad." Fran feels the same, and they begin kissing and pleasing each other to improve their relationship. "Do you feel stimulated after seeing two kittens made up and loving each other? You pervert Lilicon." Kurumi doing a handjob on Satria's dick from behind, trying to make him climax. "I don't want to be called Lilicon by a woman who was having a threesome with them last night and doesn't tempt me to raid you again, honey," Satria warned her as he held back when having sex with them. His stamina right now is a ridiculous high, plus he can recover himself or other stamina with his power. Ultraman Cosmos may not be strong and offensive, but his healing power is absurd. Thanks to him I'm not going to die by snoo. Aira the young one is so spirited in the morning, Fatalis said when seeing Fran and Konako enjoying themselves. "Kurumi-san, stop teasing Danasama because it's my job to do it." Kiyohime took away Kurumi's hand from Satria's dick and wrapped his penis with her snake tongue. "Shit! I cannot hold much longer, dear, sorry, I will." Satria released a large amount of white fluid in Kiyohime's mouth. "You released so much, Danasama, is inside my mouth that good?" Kiyohime asks her husband. "I must admit, Kiyohime-san tongue play is top grade, share some with me." Kurumi kissed Kiyohime in French style, sharing the cum inside her mouth. "How can your cum can be this aromatic and delicious? I heard sperm taste salty and smell like chlorine, yet you prove me wrong. It's simple proper hygiene practices, a healthy diet and lifestyle, and I regularly clean the toxic inside my body using my power. It's for the sake of this moment." Satria proudly answers about his hard work and stares at Kurumi's breast. Want to drink more, honey? Even after you drink all our milk so much? I worried about our children in the future would not have any milk left to drink." Kurumi teased her husband. And no? Who says I want to drink your milk? I'm not a baby. It's just to appreciate the beauty of your body, nothing more. Satria entered his Tsundere mode, making the family giggle. It's strange to see him like this, to think he has the same fetish as Issei senpai. No wonder they are both getting along. Konako finally understood how her mate and the pervert Red Dragon became friends. "How dare you all play with him without me?" Valyuna already had enough of hearing them flirting non-stop and getting closer to Satria. "Are you ready for another round, Hubby? My womb is ready to carry your children." Valyuna speaks in a low voice and acts cute in front of him as she offers her voluptuous body to him. "You girl leaves me no choice, be ready for." Ding dong! Someone ringing the bell disrupted the mood that's happening now. Satria and others sighed in disappointment. "You girls go shower first before we eat a break lunch outside the resort. I will meet whoever ruined my moment." In a remote village nestled deep within the lush forests of Bali, two voices clashed in a heated argument. The tension in the air was palpable as a father and son stood face to face, their feud threatening to unravel the delicate balance of their community. "You need to stop this madness," the father thundered, his voice quivering with a mix of rage and desperation. "Our ancestors forbade us from destroying the temple. Disturbing the home of Taksaka, the king of Naga, will bring disaster to all of Bali. You think this is just about money? You're a fool to ignore our traditions. You're no son of mine." The son, dressed in crisp, modern attire that clashed starkly with the simplicity of his father's batik shirt, scoffed. "Are you seriously still clinging to those ancient superstitions, Dad? There's no Naga. It's just a myth. This project will make us rich, and it'll bring progress to the village. I didn't work my ass off to graduate from a top university just to listen to fairy tales." He leaned forward, his tone sharp. "The investors are ready, and this deal is worth more than you can imagine. Stop holding us back with your outdated beliefs." The father's gaze hardened, unwavering. "No matter how many times you ask, my answer will not change. I will not allow you to desecrate the sacred temple." The son's fists clenched, his face darkening with frustration. "Fine," he spat, storming out of the house. Outside, under the dim glow of a crescent moon, he pulled out his phone and sent a message. His fingers trembled not with doubt, but with anticipation. "You've forced me to do this, old man. Tonight, that cursed temple will be nothing but rubble, and I'll be the most powerful man in Bali." Meanwhile, on the southern coast of Bali, in the tranquil district of Jimbaran, the scent of frangipani flowers mingled with the salty ocean breeze. Hidden amidst the lush greenery was a charming cafe, its rustic wooden tables set beneath a canopy of flowering vines. The gentle hum of conversations blended with the rhythmic crash of waves in the distance. At one of the tables, Satria sat with his companions, flipping through a menu brimming with dishes inspired by Bali's rich culinary traditions. The group was basking in the laid-back atmosphere of the resort. The cafe manager approached with a polite smile. "How is everything, sir and ma'ams? Is the resort meeting your expectations? If there's anything we can improve, please don't hesitate to let me know." Satria, leaning back in his chair, smiled appreciatively. "The resort is excellent. Quiet environment, great service, humble staff, beautiful rooms perfect for a family retreat. I'll give you 90 Jawa points for that." The manager bowed slightly, beaming at the high praise. Fran, still scanning the menu, pointed at the grilled fish on her plate. "Hey, what's this called? It's really good." "That's Ikan Baker," Satria replied. "You should eat it with Cah Kong Kong, it's healthier that way." Fran made a face. "Nope." "Yes," Satria insisted. "Trust me, it tastes better together." Kurumi chimed in with a satisfied tone, her crimson eyes sparkling. "I had the most incredible spa experience. The massage was so relaxing that I forgot all my troubles." Though. She shot a sly glance at Satria. "It's still not as good as his messages." Satria nearly choked on his drink, while the others tried, and failed, to suppress their laughter. Valyana, sipping on a refreshing glass of kalapamuta, young coconut, chuckled. "Agreed. The food here is delicious, and the atmosphere is wonderful. Who would have thought your homeland is such an amazing place for a vacation?" "You have no idea, dear," Satria said, flashing a smug grin. "Bali is just a small piece of the puzzle. Indonesia has so much more to offer." Valyana raised an eyebrow. "Really? How big is this country, exactly?" Fatalis, ever the knowledgeable one, leaned forward. "Indonesia is a massive archipelago. If you stretched it out, it would span from Ireland to Uzbekistan. To put it in simpler terms, while a 3-hour trip in Europe might take you across 6 countries, here? You'd barely make it across a single island." The group exchanged looks of awe. Konako, nibbling on a slice of pisang goreng, tilted her head. "Speaking of amazing, where's Kia Him-san? I haven't seen her since we arrived. Satria's expression grew a little sheepish. About her. On a sunny afternoon, Kiyohime wandered through the lush grounds of the resort, her steps guided by the enticing aroma of spices wafting through the air. Her curiosity led her to a charming restaurant tucked away in a serene corner of the resort. With her natural love for cooking, she couldn't resist the urge to explore. Thanks to Satria's connections, she was granted access to the bustling kitchen to learn the secrets of Indonesian cuisine. There, she was warmly greeted by Renata, the head chef, a spirited Balinese woman with a passion for culinary arts that mirrored Kiyohime's own. Renata's eyes lit up as she noticed the eagerness radiating from Kiyohime. Ah, a fellow cook. Welcome, Miss Kiyohime. Come, let's see what you can do. Kiyohime joined the kitchen, immersing herself in the vibrant world of Indonesian flavors. Renata guided her through every step, from grinding spices into sambal paste to mastering the delicate balance of sweet, sour, salty, and spicy notes that defined the cuisine. Kiyohime worked with precision and focus, her movements graceful and confident. You're a natural, Renata remarked as she observed Kiyohime perfectly recreate an ayam batuta dish. The staff, who were accustomed to Renata's high standards, exchanged shocked glances at the rare praise. Where did you learn to cook like this? Kiyohime wiped her hands, a gentle smile on her lips. Thank you, Renata-san. You're an exceptional chef yourself, as expected of someone leading a restaurant of this caliber. As for me, let's just say I've had centuries of experience perfecting my craft. Renata chuckled, impressed. Centuries, you say? Your husband is lucky to have someone like you. Speaking of which. Her tone shifted to a mix of curiosity and disdain. Is he the white-haired man at the VVIP table surrounded by all those beautiful girls? Is he seriously playing around with other women while you're here working hard for his sake? Kiyohime's smile faltered for a moment, and the kitchen seemed to chill despite the heat of the stoves. She placed a large lobster on the cutting board, her movements measured. Yes, that's him. Those women are my CO wives. My husband practices polygamy. Her tone was calm, but a subtle edge crept into her words. I tolerate it, for now. With a swift motion, she split the lobster cleanly in half, but the force shattered the cutting board beneath it. The room fell silent, and the staff froze, their eyes wide with a mixture of fear and admiration. Kiyohime blinked, realizing what she'd done. She straightened, bowing deeply. My apologies, Renata-san. I let my emotions get the better of me. I'll replace the cutting board immediately. Renata forced a nervous laugh, waving her hand. And no need for that, Miss Kiyohime. I completely understand. Meanwhile, on the beach, Satria was enjoying a quiet moment of sunshine when an odd sensation prickled his neck. He sneezed suddenly, a shiver running down his spine. What the? Why do I feel like someone's mad at me? Before he could dwell on it, a voice snapped him out of his thoughts. Dear, what do you think of my swimsuit? Satria turned and was greeted by Fatalis twirling in a bold black swimsuit that accentuated her confidence. Do you feel fired up after seeing us, hubby? Valyana teased, her black tie-side swimsuit adding to her allure. Kurumi joined in, striking a playful pose. Do you like what you see, honey? Fran and Konako, not wanting to be outdone, stepped forward. What about us, senpai? Konako asked shyly, her cheeks slightly flushed. Do we look good, my lord? Fran added, her cat-like eyes filled with hope. Satria blinked, momentarily stunned. Then, a warm smile spread across his face. You all look gorgeous. Truly stunning. His words were sincere, and the girls beamed with happiness, their hearts fluttering at his admiration. The day unfolded with joyous activities. They dove into the crystal-clear waters, their laughter harmonizing with the gentle waves. A lively beach volleyball game followed, each spike and dive filled with playful competitiveness. Satria, ever the social magnate, wandered the shoreline, chatting with locals and tourists alike, his charm leaving a trail of smiles in his wake. His wives followed him, their camaraderie evident in their teasing banter and shared laughter. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, the group gathered to watch the breathtaking view. It wasn't the designer swimsuits or the picturesque beach that made the moment magical. It was the love and connection they shared, an unbreakable bond that made even the simplest of days extraordinary. The night air in the Balinese jungle was thick with the scent of damp earth and ancient trees. The rhythmic hum of insects and distant hoots of owls were the only sounds accompanying Wei Yin and his team as they pressed forward with their mission. Towering trees stood like silent sentinels, guarding the secrets of the land that had remained undisturbed for centuries. Wei Yin, the ambitious son of the village leader, walked ahead of his crew, holding a flashlight as they navigated through the dense vegetation. His team, armed with chainsaws and bulldozers, had one goal: to clear the land and pave the way for his grand development project. But as the first tree fell with a thunderous crash, a chilling voice cut through the air. "Stop and leave now, mortal, before it is too late, or the Naga will awaken and unleash his wrath upon the entire land of Bali." A woman emerged from the shadows, draped in a flowing kabaya, her presence both ethereal and commanding. Her dark eyes glowed with a strange intensity, as though she could see through their very souls. The workers hesitated, shifting uncomfortably under her gaze. But Wei Yin scoffed, crossing his arms. "Please, not this nonsense again. Enough with these superstitions. We have legal permits, and we're here to do our job. You should go home, miss. It's already late." He blinked. She was gone. A sudden gust of wind sent chills down his spine, but he shook it off and signaled his men to continue. "Stop this at once, Wei Yin." A powerful voice rang out through the night as an elderly man rushed through the undergrowth, his breath heavy with panic. It was the village leader, Wei Yin's own father. "Father!" Wei Yin frowned. "Why are you here? Who gave you permission to do this?" His father snatched the documents from his hands and scanned them under the flickering beam of his flashlight. His expression darkened. "I never signed this." His voice trembled with rage. "This must be the work of corrupt officials working with greedy men like you. Have you truly fallen so far, my son? Have you allowed gold to blind you to the values I raised you with?" Wei Yin clenched his fists. "You speak as if I'm the villain here. How many times do I have to tell you? This is for our family, no, for our entire village. Imagine the wealth, the prestige. Do you think we can keep living in poverty while the world advances around us? This project will bring prosperity." But his father shook his head in disappointment. "Prosperity that comes from desecration is nothing but a curse in disguise." Before Wei Yin could argue, a deep rumble reverberated beneath their feet. A crack split the earth where the temple once stood. Thick black smoke billowed out, slithering like a living entity, engulfing the air with an ominous presence. The workers screamed, clutching their throats as the smoke seeped into their lungs. One by one, they dropped to the ground, their flesh rotting away in mere seconds, leaving only bones behind. Wei Yin stumbled backward, his eyes wide with terror. What is this? Where is this smoke coming from?" His voice quivered as he watched his men perish before him. Then, from the darkness, a figure emerged. A massive black serpent, its scales shimmering like obsidian under the moonlight, rose from the ground. Golden ornaments adorned its sinuous body, and its piercing, ancient eyes glowed with fiery malice. It was Taksaka, the Serpent King. His deep voice echoed through the jungle, shaking the very ground. "Who dares disturb my slumber?" "Silence!" Wei Yin opened his mouth, but no words came. His body trembled, his mind paralyzed by fear. Taksaka's golden eyes narrowed. "Since you have no answer, then you shall serve as an example." Before Wei Yin could react, the great serpent reared back and released a torrent of poisonous breath. The toxic mist engulfed him in an instant. Agonizing screams filled the night as his flesh melted away, leaving nothing but a charred skeleton where he once stood. The remaining survivors collapsed in terror, their bodies shaking violently as Taksaka slithered forward. "Let this be a warning." The great serpent's voice thundered through the heavens. "The mortals have forgotten their place, but I shall remind them of the might of Taksaka." And with that, the storm began. Dark clouds churned in the sky, lightning crackled, and the once peaceful land of Bali trembled under the wrath of the awakened Naga. The night breeze carried the scent of the ocean as Satria guided the rented Alphard through the bustling streets, the city lights shimmering like scattered diamonds. Inside the spacious vehicle, his wives were lost in light-hearted conversations, their voices weaving together in harmony. Kiyohime, seated in the front, turned to him with an expectant gaze. "So, you weren't playing on the beach earlier because you were learning how to cook local cuisine with the resort's head chef, Renata-san." Kurumi chuckled, leaning back against her seat. "She's really dedicated, hey? Learning all that just for this bad puppy. Danasama should be honored," Kiyohime added with a teasing smile. "But tell me, was he well behaved while I was gone?" "He was a good boy today, Kiyohime-chan," Fatalis smirked and reached forward, ruffling Satria's hair from behind his seat. "Hey! Stop treating me like a kid," he protested, swatting her hand away. The group giggled before the conversation shifted. "This country is very different from Japan." Konako mused, watching the lively streets through the window. People gathered in roadside stalls, laughter ringing in the air. Strangers conversed as if they were old friends, an energy that felt foreign yet inviting to her. "You're right," Fran nodded. "The people here look happy. For some reason, I feel more relaxed and lazy staying here. Do you all feel the same?" Valyana stretched her arms. "No wonder our mate has such a laid-back personality. His homeland practically encourages it." At that, Fatalis grinned mischievously. Someone finally said it. "Honestly, I think what holds this country back from surpassing Japan is the laziness of its people to step out of their comfort zone, not to mention the flawed education system and rampant corruption." Satria visibly flinched. "Ouch! Did you have to say it like that?" Kurumi tilted her head. "Is it really that bad?" Satria sighed, gripping the steering wheel a little tighter. "It's worse than you think. We have more than enough resources to sustain ourselves without relying on other countries, but greed and incompetence keep pulling us down. There's an old saying, when a job is handed to someone unfit for the role, it's only a matter of time before everything crumbles." "Like what?" Fran asked, intrigued by the complexities of this world beyond her own. Satria let out a bitter chuckle. "Imagine someone with an agriculture background becoming the Minister of Communication. Or politicians prioritizing their personal interests over the people's well-being. Corruption seeps from the top down, infecting every level of governance." Fatalis giggled. "Well, at least you're not a bloody commie, right? If America hadn't interfered, you'd probably be one by now." Satria shrugged. "I have no comment on that. Communism failed here because they tried to erase religion in a deeply religious country. Their methods were brutal, and they made too many enemies." He glanced at the cityscape outside, his gaze unreadable. "But one thing's certain, back when our leadership leaned towards the left, we became one of the top 5 strongest militaries in the world. And, of course, the West hated that. So they did what they do best, divide and conquer." "You mean?" Kiyohime frowned. "The CIA got involved," Satria said grimly. "They funded rebellions, spread propaganda, and turned our own people against each other. And when that wasn't enough, the Dutch together with British tried to take direct action." He smirked. "Bad luck for them, though. They attacked my city first, my birthplace. And let's just say, they had no idea what was coming for them. They call Surabaya the city of heroes not without reason." His wives fell silent for a moment, absorbing his words. Then, Fran leaned forward, curiosity glimmering in her blue eyes. What would you do if you were given the responsibility of fixing your country, my lord? Satria tapped his fingers on the steering wheel, deep in thought. He paused, exhaling slowly. I'd start by tearing down everything rotten and rebuilding it from the ground up. His wives exchanged glances. That sounds a bit extreme, Konako muttered. Satria smirked. Maybe. But if a house is infested with termites, patching up the walls won't save it. You either fumigate the place, or burn it down and build anew. A heavy silence settled in the car. Then, Fatalis whistled. Damn! That's some revolutionary talk, hubby. Satria chuckled. What can I say? I love my weird country, but sometimes, loving something means being willing to change it even if that change is painful. Fatalis chuckled, leaning back against her seat. Easy to say, but the moment you try to fix things, the so-called human rights defenders will start screaming about democracy and oppression. And let's not forget the idiots, those who'd rather support their colonizers than their own people. You'd have Londo Irang crawling out of the woodwork, defending the very system that keeps them in chains. Satria clicked his tongue in irritation. Yeah, that's the real problem. Too many idiots. Kurumi raised an eyebrow. Londo Irang. A local term, Satria explained with a smirk. It refers to people who worship their former colonizers, thinking foreign influence is always superior. They'll bend over backwards to serve outsiders while treating their own country like trash. Fran tilted her head. So what's stopping you from fixing everything, my lord? You have the power, the knowledge, and the will. Why not act? Satria let out a dry laugh. Because real change isn't as simple as swinging a sword or defeating an enemy on the battlefield. If I go too far, I risk becoming the tyrant. Kiyohime nodded in understanding. A leader must walk a fine line. Too soft, and they'll be devoured by corruption. Too harsh, and they'll be branded a dictator. Exactly. Satria sighed, running a hand through his hair. Even if I had absolute power, there'd always be resistance. The media would twist the narrative, foreign powers would sabotage my efforts, and the people too blinded by propaganda would call me the villain. Konako frowned. Then, what's the solution? Satria's eyes darkened, his expression unreadable. Simple. You make them realize the truth without forcing it on them. The moment people want change, truly want it, is the moment revolution becomes unstoppable. Fatalis smirked. So you'd be the mastermind in the shadows, guiding the people to their own awakening. Satria chuckled. Something like that. A real leader doesn't just command, he inspires. And when the people themselves rise up to demand better, that's when change becomes inevitable. His wives exchanged knowing smiles. No matter where they went, life with Satria was never boring. The tension in the car dissipated instantly as Valyana, Fran, Konako, and Fatalis loudly complained about their hunger, their stomachs growling in unison like a chorus of gluttonous wolves. Enough of that. Where are we going now? I'm starving, hubby. Me too. Same here. Right. We've been in this car for 30 minutes. We demand food. Satria sighed, rubbing his temples as the headache began creeping in. Give me a break. Just as he was about to reassure them, the car's navigation system glitched, and the radio crackled with a sudden emergency broadcast. Attention, citizens! An unidentified colossal creature has appeared in the city. Authorities urge everyone to evacuate immediately. Static, do not engage. Satria instinctively slammed on the brakes, the Alphard coming to a sharp stop. His eyes widened as he spotted something massive looming in the distance. Not again, he cursed, parking the car in a safe area, and at the same time, the dimensional chat ringing notification. ______. Kazuma-sama, nice to meet you, new member. My name is Sato Kazuma, the most handsome and trustworthy man in this group chat. It's an honor to meet you, Lady White. Lady White, group chat? You must be kidding me. Can this thing help me escape from this cursed dungeon? Death, dungeon? Are you trapped in a place filled with strong monsters? That sounds fun. Robin, how did you end up trapped in a dungeon? Are you okay? Lady White, long story, and I'm fine for now. But is this real? Not some hallucination. Spider-Man, it's real, Lady White. Check the streaming section, you'll find all sorts of crazy battles our members have been in. Lady White, wow! These videos look insane. Wait, at Spider-Man, are you a spider like me? Spider-Man, pardon. Lady White, are you a literal spider? I mean, I am. Let me show you. Lady White has uploaded a picture. Kazuma-sama, ehhh. You're an actual spider? How are you even typing? Lady White, because I used to be a Japanese high school girl before I got reincarnated into this damn dungeon. Kazuma-sama, damn, someone out there is even unluckier than me. Evil spirit, a reincarnator, hey? If you ever need help, just call me, at White-san. Spider-Man, yeah, don't worry. You're part of the group now, and we always help our own. Lady White, thank you. Loudly crying face, I've been alone for so long. Hero Hunter, TCH. Enough of this sappy crap. Who's the strongest here? Show yourself and fight me. King of Knights, what an arrogant punk. Do you need me to teach you some manners? Hero Hunter, bring it on. Amelia, please stop. We're all friends here. And why do you call yourself Hero Hunter? Hero Hunter, humph. Not your business, woman. Amelia, it is my business. Many of us are heroes at Spider-Man, at Robin, at God of Hope, at Ruby. They're all good people, and I don't want you hurting them just because they're heroes. If you have a problem, talk to me. Privately, if needed. Hero Hunter, I don't need another lecture. Lady White, forget the rude guy. Who's the group admin? Is he a good guy? Kazuma-sama, don't say his name. If you summon him, bad things will happen. Lady White, that bad. Pervert sage, you'll see soon enough. Ding. Group quest activated. Defeat the Naga King Taksaka and evacuate civilians. 0/3 members required. Participants, full. Hero Hunter, oi. I want a real fight. Let me in. Evil Spirit, oh, at White, you wanted to know about the admin? Well, enjoy the show. Evil Spirit has started a live stream. _____. A monstrous serpent, black as night and adorned with golden ornaments, slithered through the city. The mere presence of the legendary Naga King, Taksaka, sent waves of fear across the metropolis. Screams echoed through the streets as the military unleashed their full firepower tanks, helicopters, missiles, but their efforts were futile. The serpent's poisonous breath melted steel, and each swing of its tail reduced buildings to rubble. What the hell is that? Fran's eyes widened as she watched the destruction unfold. No idea, Fatalis shrugged. Anyone up for fighting a giant snake? Interesting. Valyana cracked her knuckles. Let me handle it. Careful, partner, the voice of Albion warned from within her. That thing rivals my power in my prime. Asterisk. Satria exhaled deeply, gripping the Cosmo plug in his hand. Something about this situation felt off. Danasama. Kiyohime watched as her husband clutched the strange device. You girls evacuate the civilians, Satria ordered, stepping forward. I'll handle this. Asterisk. Boo. No fun. Valyana pouted, crossing her arms. Relax, Albion chuckled. You wanted to see your hubby's true power, didn't you? True power. Konako's cat ears perked up, intrigued. Without another word, Satria raised the Cosmo plug and the city was engulfed in brilliant light. A radiant, blue giant materialized, his towering form shimmering with an aura of serenity and strength. His very presence exuded warmth, compassion, and an unshakable resolve. Is that hubby? Valuna's eyes widened in shock. My Kiyohime licked her lips, her body shivering in delight. To think Danasama hid this from me. It makes me want to devour him even more tonight. Konako, mesmerized by the glow, felt her heart race. Senpai's power, it's so warm. So beautiful. I never knew a devil like me could feel this peaceful. You knew about this, didn't you? Kurumi turned to Fatalis, who simply smirked. Of course, Fatalis crossed her arms proudly. He's not just our Satria anymore, he is known across the galaxy as the Warrior of Light. She took a deep breath before declaring his name. Ultraman Cosmos. The battle for Bali had begun. To be continued. Chapter 102, Chapter 84. Beacon of Light. Bali, Indonesia. The island of the Hindu had turned into a battleground. The legendary Naga Taksaka, a serpent of colossal size and power, slithered through the city, his golden eyes gleaming with fury. Each movement of his colossal body shattered buildings and sent tremors across the land. Civilians fled in terror as the military's efforts proved useless against the Kaiju's overwhelming might. But then a beacon of light descended from the sky. A towering blue giant, radiating an aura of peace and power, landed gracefully amidst the destruction. His presence alone caused a wave of relief to wash over the people. The light of Ultraman Cosmos had arrived. Grr! Who are you? Taksaka roared, his voice shaking the earth itself. You dare stand before the great Taksaka? Satria, now in his Ultraman Cosmos form, tilted his head slightly, his luminous blue eyes calm yet firm. Chill, bro, he spoke telepathically, his voice carrying both wisdom and humor. I'm a wise man who prefers solving problems without violence whenever possible. And lucky for you, I have a degree in psychology from Harvard. First session is free, so tell me what's really bothering you? Maybe we can work something out. The Naga's eyes twitched. You talk too much. Die. With a violent hiss, Taksaka swung his massive tail like a whip, the sheer force splitting the ground beneath it. Satria swiftly raised his arms in a defensive stance, his feet firmly planted as he absorbed the impact. The shockwave from the collision sent debris flying in all directions, but the blue giant remained unmoved. Sigh. I guess our fists have to do the talking first, Satria muttered. He clenched his fists, his muscles tensing with excitement. All right, big guy. Let's have a proper chat through combat. At that moment, a familiar voice echoed in his mind. Do you want me to activate your speed force power? His system had detected an opportunity to use one of his most powerful abilities, Speed Force, which granted him light-fast reflexes, precognition, and immeasurable speed. But Satria smirked. Nair, he responded internally. My martial arts are enough. Combining my ultra strength with Speed Force would be overkill, and where's the fun in that? He cracked his knuckles and took a deep breath, his energy focusing on his next move. Heavenly Hand of Defense, Armor Form. As Taksaka lunged forward with another devastating strike, Satria absorbed the force of the attack into his own body, redirecting it through his core. Then, in one fluid motion, boom! The energy was reflected back at Taksaka, sending the massive serpent reeling in pain. Gwah! Taksaka roared, his body convulsing from the force of his own attack. His golden eyes widened in disbelief. Why does my own strength hurt me? But Satria wasn't done. He pressed the advantage, refusing to give his enemy a chance to recover. Gathering light, consecutive strike. Channeling the speed and precision of Aikido, Satria delivered 3 lightning-fast blows to Taksaka's vital points. The glabella, forehead, disorienting his vision. The philtrum, above the lips, disrupting his balance. The chin sending a powerful shockwave through his skull. Each strike landed with pinpoint accuracy, causing the great serpent to stagger backward. Unforgivable. Taksaka seethed, his vision blurring. Strong. Who is this guy? Is he perhaps holding back against me? The one known as the King of Naga. _____. Hero Hunter, ha 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 ha. He's a martial artist like me, hey. But he's not just some amateur throwing punches. Every strike he lands is precise and deadly. This guy doesn't fight just to overpower, he fights to eliminate. I need to test my skills against him. Robin, strength, speed, and technique. It's like facing Superman, Flash, and Batman all combined into one entity. If someone like him ever turned against humanity, that would be a global crisis. White Lady, woohoo! So this is the power of the admin in this group. It's like watching a live-action mecha anime. A giant warrior battling a legendary kaiju. It's freaking awesome. Pervert Sage, this kid is just getting started. He's already terrifying, but the real nightmare? He keeps evolving. Day by day, fight by fight, he's becoming stronger, faster, sharper. It's exciting, sure, but also terrifying. Kazuma-sama, pfnat, you guys are overthinking this. For me, at Bangsat is pure chaotic neutral. He's not the type to go around wrecking people just because he can. As long as you don't piss him off, you're fine. But if you do, well, let's just say I'd rather reincarnate again than be on his bad side. _____. The once mighty Naga Taksaka lay sprawled on the ground, his colossal form trembling from the devastating blows dealt by the so-called hero of kindness. His scales cracked, his breathing ragged, and his pride shattered. Yet, even as pain racked his body, his fury burned hotter than ever. Satria, standing tall in his Ultraman Cosmos form, looked down at the injured serpent with calm, piercing eyes. "Are you ready to have a conversation now?" he asked, his voice carrying neither mockery nor arrogance, just genuine concern. "Destroying this city isn't cool, brother. Families are being torn apart, lives are being ruined, and the long-term economic damage will haunt this place for years. And let's not even get started on the psychological trauma." Silence. Taksaka roared in defiance, forcing himself back onto his coils despite the agony. His rage refused to let him listen to the words of a mere mortal in a giant's skin. "Who do you think you are to lecture me? I am the king of Naga, Taksaka." With a final, desperate act of defiance, the Naga opened his massive jaws and spewed a corrosive breath of death toward Satria. The air shimmered with toxic fumes, and the ground sizzled wherever the deadly mist touched. But Satria didn't flinch. Raising a single hand, he summoned a golden, square-shaped barrier that absorbed the attack with ease, dispersing the venomous mist before it could cause any further destruction. As the serpent reeled in shock, Satria strode forward, unshaken. With a mere wave of his hand, the barrier shifted, twisting, expanding, morphing until it engulfed Taksaka in a luminous golden prison. This was Moon Rever Spike, an ability that not only restrained but neutralized the target's power entirely. Taksaka thrashed and roared, his massive tail slamming into the barrier with full force. Yet no matter how much he struggled, the golden prison refused to budge. What is this sorcery? Let me go." Satria merely sighed. "You had your chance, bro. Now, let's end this before you embarrass yourself further." Just as he gathered pulsating light into his palm to finish the job, a sudden gust of wind swept through the battlefield. A mysterious, ethereal presence descended from above. "Stop!" The voice was gentle yet commanding, like a whisper that could shatter mountains. Before Satria, a radiant woman hovered in the air, her presence exuding both divine grace and undeniable authority. Her flowing dark hair, adorned with golden ornaments, framed a face that seemed both ageless and serene. Her eyes, however, burned with power. Satria lowered his hand, his curiosity piqued. "Who are you?" The woman floated closer, her glowing robes billowing around her like a celestial river. "My name is Kadru, Mighty One," she introduced herself, inclining her head in respect. "I am this boy's mother and a goddess of the Hindu pantheon." Taksaka flinched at her presence, his earlier bravado wilting like a dying ember. "I deeply apologize for my son's reckless actions. He has forgotten his place." Satria raised an eyebrow. "If he's supposed to be protecting this land, then why is he wrecking it instead?" Kadru sighed, casting a disappointed glance at her son. "The Naga were once tasked with guarding this world under the command of the Garuda, but my son has allowed his personal grievances to cloud his duty." "Mother, I was merely teaching these greedy humans a lesson." Kadru's sharp gaze silenced him instantly. "Do you forget the treaty we swore upon?" she said coldly. Taksaka froze, his defiance melting into something resembling fear. "We are forbidden to interfere with mortals. If the Celestials catch wind of your actions, they will not only erase you but all of us." A heavy silence fell over the battlefield. Satria's eyes narrowed at the mention of the Celestials. "So even the gods of this world fear them. Interesting." For the first time in a long while, excitement flickered in Satria's heart. Ever since gaining his powers, very few things had genuinely challenged him. He hated unnecessary battles, but the thrill of testing his limits against the unknown? That was something he couldn't ignore. "Celestials, hey!" Satria mused aloud. "I wonder, just how strong are they?" A small, competitive grin formed on his lips. Kadru studied him carefully, sensing something far more dangerous behind his calm demeanor. "This man, he is not bound by the laws of this world. He is beyond us." And that, more than anything, terrified her. As the fight settled, the people of Bali and tourists began to gather, their fear slowly replaced by awe. Instead of running, they held up cameras and phones, risking everything to capture the breathtaking moment the warrior of light, a beacon of hope, standing victorious against the legendary king of Naga. And then, something even more astonishing happened. As they watched the warrior raise his palm, a golden light surged forth, not to destroy, but to heal. A radiant beam engulfed Taksaka's injured form, its warmth sinking into his very being. His once battered body felt renewed, his strength returning, but more than that his mind, once clouded by rage, felt clear for the first time in centuries. The pain was gone. No, he felt stronger than ever. Taksaka's eyes widened in disbelief. How? How is this possible? I feel as if I'm in my prime again. For the first time in his long existence, peace, true, undisturbed peace washed over him. But his moment of clarity was interrupted by a voice filled with suspicion. "You're not from around here, are you?" The goddess Kadru, watching the scene unfold, studied the glowing giant with undeniable curiosity. This power, it was unlike anything she had ever witnessed. It wasn't divine, yet it wasn't mortal either. Satria stretched his arms, cracking his knuckles casually. "Who knows," he replied playfully. "More importantly, it's time for your son to do the right thing." Kadru arched an eyebrow. "And what would that be?" Satria turned to the towering king of Naga, his expression serious. "Apologize to the people of Bali for the damage you've caused." Taksaka froze, his pride flaring up instantly. "Why, you must be joking. The great me, apologize to mortals?" Satria smirked, his golden aura shimmering around him. "Why not? A true king takes responsibility for his actions. A true leader acknowledges his mistakes and makes amends. Unless, you're just a self-proclaimed king, using that title to hide your own insecurities." The crowd gasped at Satria's words. Taksaka's face twitched, his anger replaced by internal conflict. The silence stretched on. And then... Fine. Fine. The mighty king of Naga turned to the people and, with visible effort, bowed his massive head. I, Taksaka, king of Naga, deeply apologize for my actions. And you mortals, may rest assured, for the great me will become your protector from now on. A stunned silence followed. And then cheers erupted. The once terrified citizens now looked upon the great serpent not as a monster, but as a guardian. Satria clapped his hands together. See? That wasn't so hard, was it? Then he turned back to the crowd, his voice booming with confidence. Did everyone hear that? Everything that happened here wasn't just some random attack, it was caused by greedy humans disturbing a sacred place without permission. And now, let me tell you all something important. The people listened intently, sensing the weight of his words. There are beings beyond humans that walk this world. Some are allies, some are enemies, but none of them deserve to be blindly feared or hated. Instead of fighting them, why not try understanding? Why not try working together? His golden eyes scanned the crowd, challenging them. You claim to be the residents of this planet, right? Then act like it. No more division based on race, belief, or ideology. If you truly love this world, then you should stand united to protect it, to protect your families. He let the words sink in before adding one last jab. Only assholes and people with parentless behavior would disagree with me. Am I right? The cheers that followed were earth-shaking. A legend was born. Meanwhile, in the digital realm, as expected, the internet exploded. Live streams, news reports, and social media debates raged across the globe. Forums were flooded with heated discussions about the Warrior of Light, linking him to the mystery savior who had performed miracles in the Middle East. Some hailed him as a savior, a beacon of hope in a world drowning in darkness. Others found him controversial, calling him arrogant and reckless. But no one could deny the truth. A new force had arrived. And the world would never be the same. Satria, now, was having an entirely different conversation with his system AI. Anjali. Goldie, how was my Oscar-worthy performance? Give me a score. Goldie? Is that my name now? Yep. You always refused my brilliant name suggestions, so now you're stuck with a mediocre name as punishment. How does it feel, brat? Any regrets? Truthfully, it's better than Johnny Sins, Satria Jr., Doraemon, Gospel, Uzumaki Bayu, Sugmatic, Mayanadisu, Quagmire, Glory Hole, and the many other questionable names you've tried to give me. Satria gasped in betrayal. How dare you insult my naming genius? I demand to speak to your parents right now. The person you are calling is on another line. Please try again later. Puck you. Back in reality, Kadru watched the warrior with amusement. You are, something else, Warrior of Light. She gave him a knowing smile before turning to her son. Come, Taksaka. We must return to Swarga and report what has happened here. The great Naga hesitated, glancing back at Satria. Something about this strange warrior made him feel uneasy. Yet, intrigued. Kadru sensed her son's hesitation and smirked. I have a feeling we will meet again, Warrior of Light. Until then Om Swastiastu. With a final celestial chant, the two divine beings ascended into the vast sky, leaving Satria alone. Satria stretched, letting out a satisfied sigh. Huffed. Finally done. And I'm starving. He turned toward the cameras with a cheeky grin. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you all in the next episode. Shawatch. And with that, he soared into the sky, leaving behind a roaring crowd and a world forever changed. Some saw him as a hero. Others saw him as a menace. But one thing was certain. The Warrior of Light was no ordinary savior. ______. Mission completed. 25,000 copyright will be distributed. 15,000 copyright plus 1 surprise box for at Bangsat. 5,000 copyright plus 1 surprise box for at Kuroniko. 5,000 copyright plus 1 surprise box for at Evil Spirit. Hero Hunter, TCH. Another wannabe, useless hero. What a disappointment. Kuroniko, you're the only useless one here. My lord may be many things, but at least he isn't a jobless bum like you. Hero Hunter, who the hell are you calling jobless, you damn brat? Kazuma-sama, relax, at Hero Hunter. I understand your pain as a fellow jobless man. But at Kuroniko, why do you call this idiot your lord? Kuroniko, because I have devoted my body, soul, and very existence to him. He is the light of my life, and it is my duty as his blade to serve him until the end of time. Kazuma-sama, what kind of brainwashing nonsense is this? At Bangsat, are you trying to collect every genre in your dumb harem, you damn lolicon? Bangsat, mind your business, Lolizuma. Just admit you're jealous of my popularity phase. You better head to the succubus cafe and mourn your eternal bachelor status. Face with stuck-out tongue and winking eye. Kazuma-sama, jealous? Ha! Since I became rich, the town's ladies can't keep their eyes off the handsome me. Bangsat, who would be dumb enough to date you? Let me guess, they're from the Axis cult, right? Kazuma-sama, no. I'd rather die than be with those psychos. Bangsat, WKWKWKWK. Here, take a look, Kazuma. Behold the gaming room I just built in my house. Bangsat uploaded a picture. Kazuma-sama, no freaking way. High-end PC setup, console gaming, arcade machines, and even a pool table. This is every gamer's dream. Can I visit your world to play, Satria-sama? Bangsat, of course. Feel free to visit after the original finishes his vacation. It's gonna be legendary. Evil Spirit, oh, legendary, indeed, but tell us, dear, how much did this gaming paradise and your so-called popularity cost you? You better not have spent our shared funds recklessly. Bangsat, wah. Blame the original. He's the one who told me to build it. I was left alone for a whole month, so obviously, I needed entertainment. Crying face. White lady, wait. So he is the admin? He's not at all like I imagined. Bangsat, oh? New members? Sorry, I didn't notice. Who are you two? Robin, scroll up, lazy ass. Bangsat, ah. So we got it under a cookie monster and a talking spider. Great. More weirdos. Ruby, what? At Hero Hunter, you want to be the cookie monster. Back off. All cookies belong to me. Hero Hunter, I never had such a stupid dream. And don't call me Tsundere, damn it. White lady, who are you calling a weirdo? And what's your problem with a talking spider? Bangsat, no problem at all. You're just unique. So how about this? Join my nakama, and let's search for the two-piece together. Smiling face with sunglasses. White lady, I don't know what you mean, but I'm not joining your shady little group. Bangsat, what? Why? Are you sure? With me, you get 5 meals a day, health insurance, and a monthly salary with amazing benefits. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I guarantee your success in life if you join my nakama. White lady, nay. Nay. I'm not falling for your scam. But I'm curious, at Evil Spirit, at Kuroniko, you both seem to have deep connections with this idiot. What's so special about him? Kuroniko, he's a dependable and hilarious man. His reliability means I can trust him in any situation, and his humor makes every moment enjoyable. Evil Spirit, My reasons are similar. He is incredibly dependable, someone I can always count on. And he is very good at some stuff too. Fufu. White lady, what? You've already gone that far. Evil spirit, who knows? Smirking face. Spider-Man, can't argue with that. Big brother Satria is flexible, and you can count on him anytime. Robin, if only he wasn't so childish and weird, this guy could be dangerous to a lot of people. _____. The battlefield lay silent, save for the distant echoes of the fallen. The weight of the moment crushed down upon the heroine, leaving her speechless, emotions swirling uncontrollably as they struggled to process the sheer gravity of what had transpired. So lost in thought was she that she failed to notice the purple shimmer of teleportation beside them. Oi, you girl, okay? A familiar, energetic voice broke through the tense atmosphere. Why does this brat always have to end fights so dramatically, Tabia? Naruto stood there, arms crossed, shaking his head at the absurdity of the situation. He already knew this would cause another uproar in this world. What is wrong with this guy? Is he not afraid of anything? Fran's master observed Satria from a distance, his analytical gaze filled with awe and just a tinge of disbelief. He didn't want to admit it, but the guy had a natural charisma, one that could turn him into a powerful leader if he so desired. Suddenly, a soft white light illuminated the battlefield, signaling the return of the so-called hero of kindness to his human form. Yet, at the center of it all, Satria simply grinned like a mischievous child, seeking validation from his beloved heroines. So? What do you think? Pretty damn cool, right? And just like that, his girls, his ever-loyal harem, stepped forward, their expressions filled with admiration and warmth. There, you did well, Danasama. Kiyohime gently patted his head, her voice filled with fondness. The way you transformed into that giant and crushed that Naga was incredible, hubby. Valyuna smirked, her silver hair swaying in the breeze. As expected of my puppy. Well done, my boy. Fatalis chuckled, arms crossed with approval. You never fail to surprise me, senpai. I'm really proud to have you as a mate. Konako's usual monotone carried a warmth that was rare for her. Indeed, my lord. Thou power is unmatched, it inspires me to strive for excellence, to be a blade truly worthy of you. Fran's eyes shone with unwavering devotion. You are indeed my proudest husband, even if you are a little mischievous sometimes, Fufu. Kurumi playfully twirled a lock of her hair, amusement flickering in her crimson eyes. Basking in the warmth of their praise, Satria's heart swelled with joy. There was no greater pleasure than knowing he had won their hearts not just through power, but through sheer affection and devotion. A little distance away, Baban watched the scene unfold, his expression blank as he digested the absurdity before him. Have they completely forgotten about us? Naruto, however, merely sighed, already numb to this level of bullshit. First time. Baban turned toward the ninja, confusion on his face. Naruto shrugged. Trust me, I've seen worse. If this already makes you sick, imagine how much I suffer seeing this shit every day. The exhausted voice of Albion came from Valyuna's hand, the ancient dragon sounding utterly drained of life. You have my condolences, Albion-san. Baban and Naruto shared a mutual look of pity, unable to fathom the suffering the poor dragon had endured. But before anyone could dwell further on Albion's plight, a golden portal suddenly tore through the space before them. Instantly, Satria's group tensed, shifting into battle stances as an overwhelming presence emerged from the light. The air itself grew heavier, thick with an aura that spoke of centuries of wisdom and power. A woman stepped forward, adorned in intricate mystical robes, her piercing gaze locking onto Satria as if attempting to peer into his very soul. Naruto's expression darkened. Why are you here, Ancient One? The Sorcerer Supreme regarded him briefly before shifting her focus back to Satria. Patroness, to think you would bring another otherworldly entity into this realm, but this one. Her eyes narrowed. Is different. More ominous. For the first time in centuries, the Ancient One encountered something, or rather, someone whose future she could not see. A blank space in the threads of time. Her expression remained calm, but inwardly, she felt a creeping unease. Strange. Why am I unable to perceive you in any possible timeline? And more importantly, her voice sharpened. I can sense his power within you. Are you one of his champions? Satria smirked. Who? The Ancient One's gaze grew sharper. Do not play the fool, young man. What is your connection to the Lord of the Dark Dimension? Silence. Then. Satria chuckled. Acquaintances? Maybe? But seriously, why am I getting interrogated by a hypocrite like you? The Ancient One's eyes narrowed. How do you know? Because I'm awesome. Satria interrupted with a smug grin. He then tilted his head, feigning innocence. Geez, why so tense? Are you always like this? No wonder you don't have a boyfriend. For a moment, just a moment, there was silence. Then, the Ancient One's expression darkened. You are even worse than I imagined. Her hands rose, arcane sigils igniting in the air, as the elements of the cosmos themselves gathered to her call. No need for further discussion. You will surrender the space stone now, or I will ensure you regret it. The very air crackled with raw cosmic energy. But Satria merely smirked. Oh? You want the space stone? Slowly, he reached into his dimensional storage and pulled out the shimmering blue gem. But instead of handing it over, his fingers tightened. A golden aura burst from his hand, and a divine voice resonated within him. Fine. Get ready. == Sacrificing the world and space stone. Process complete. New resistances acquired: time stop resistance, reality warping resistance. New skills acquired: reality overwrite, power nullification, fate manipulation, time manipulation, power bestowal, soul manipulation, biological manipulation, creation. Notice: unique skill. The world has evolved into ultimate skill, the ruler over heaven. == A shockwave of cosmic energy erupted from Satria, shaking the battlefield. The Ancient One's eyes widened in horror. What have you done? Naruto took an involuntary step back. No way. Did he just become stronger? Baban's appraisal skill malfunctioned, unable to process Satria's existence anymore. What kind of man are you? Even Albion, the once mighty dragon, felt pure disbelief. This isn't humanly possible. The heroines, however, simply smiled in satisfaction, their faith in their beloved stronger than ever. A golden humanoid figure, Satria's stand, manifested behind the Ancient One, its hand outstretched, ready to erase the Sorcerer Supreme from existence itself. And Satria? He simply stood majestic and untouchable, his smirk never fading. Now, you see what you're up against. To be continued. Chapter 103, Glimpse of the Future. I don't pray for miracle, I make them. The once thriving city now lay in ruin, its grand streets drenched in blood, its towering spires crumbling under the assault of a monstrous horde. A sinister cult, clad in brass and crimson armor, moved like a living tide, chanting the name of their dark deity Kern, the god of war and blood. Screams filled the air. Fires raged unchecked. Mommy! I'm scared. It's okay, sweetheart. The soldiers and the Emperor will protect us. Hold your position. We must not let them advance any further. For the glory of the Golden Emperor. Your Golden Emperor has already abandoned you. Accept your fate and be grateful. Your blood shall fuel the tribute to Kern. Blood for the Blood God. Skulls for the Skull Throne. A desperate resistance was failing. Warriors of the Golden Emperor fought valiantly, but the enemy's savagery was overwhelming. A berserker raised his axe over a wounded soldier. And then reality itself cracked open. A cosmic rift tore through the battlefield, light and shadow swirling together. From its depths, a lone figure emerged, a man clad in ethereal robes, woven with the shifting hues of the cosmos. His long black hair flowed like the strands of fate itself, his crimson eyes burning with celestial power. "Is all of this mess your fault?" Silence fell as both sides turned to the newcomer. A chaos warlord snarled, stepping forward. "Who the hell are you? Did you come here to die?" The man's gaze was cold and unyielding. "I am Nathan, son of the Golden Emperor and the Nightmare. I am here to erase every single one of you." The surviving soldiers gasped in relief. Civilians whispered prayers of gratitude. The demons hesitated for a moment before their insatiable bloodlust took over. One leaped forward, swinging its jagged blade. Malevolent gravity. Nathan raised a hand. The charging demons collapsed under an unseen force. Flesh and armor imploded as a crushing weight 2,000 times Earth's gravity descended upon them. Within seconds, they were reduced to a smear of blood and metal. A moment of stunned silence. Then, the cultists and Chaos Marines let out a frenzied roar, charging in blind desperation. "He is but one man. Kill him." Nathan's expression remained impassive. He slowly raised a finger. Entropy. Shadows burst forth, forming mirror clones of Nathan, each one wielding the same immense power. But as the clones attacked, they moved in reverse, defying logic, copying Nathan's actions moments before he even performed them. The battlefield became a dance of destruction. The clones struck with inhuman precision, one tearing through a berserker's chest, another warping space itself to rip apart a daemon engine. The city trembled under the fury of a one-man army. The battle raged for an entire day. And then, it was over. The once chaotic battlefield now lay silent, littered with the remains of Kern's followers. The city stood bruised, battered, but victorious. Nathan, exhausted, exhaled deeply. "It's finally over." His body wavered, then began to fall. Only to be caught by two pairs of hands. On his right, a woman with long crimson hair, her dress flowing like blood and shadow, her beauty both enchanting and deadly. On his left, a silver-haired beauty with emotionless eyes, yet a quiet warmth hidden beneath her icy exterior. They were sisters. His childhood friends. His greatest headache. The redhead glared at him. "You idiot!" Nathan, still dazed, blinked. "Hey!" Her grip tightened. "Do you think we're stupid? I went out to buy milk, really? That was your excuse? Nathan, you went into a battle against a Chaos Legion alone." The white-haired girl nodded, voice calm but firm. "You are reckless, Nathan. As punishment, you cannot go anywhere without us for 2 weeks. Or I will report you to Kurumi-san." Nathan paled. Oi, don't bring my mom into this. Uncle Peter is going to be worried to see his beloved daughter go to a dangerous place like the battlefield, and I don't want you two to get harmed by the evil that lurks in the Empire. It's my responsibility to make sure my people are safe from evil deities like Kern." Smack! Both girls hit him on the head. Nathan groaned, rubbing the spot. "Is this how you treat a war hero? I demand." He caught sight of their terrifying expressions. "I deeply apologize for my actions." The redhead smirked. "Good boy. The silver-haired girl nodded. "We understand why you did it, but trust us, we are not weak. I'm the daughter of Shiro and my power is undeniable. I already vow to protect you and the people you love from your enemies." Nathan sighed, offering a small smirk. Fine. Guess I'm just too handsome and popular for my own good." Silence. The redhead's smile turned dangerous. "Lily, you know what we must do with this bad puppy, right?" Lily nodded. Without hesitation, she conjured crimson silk threads, wrapping Nathan like a cocoon. Then, with unnatural strength, she lifted him in a bridal carry. Nathan's eyes widened in horror. What the hell? Where are you taking me? The redhead giggled. Don't worry about the city, your father will handle the rest. More importantly, we must treat you back to health. Lily's blank face softened just slightly. We will be gentle. Nathan shivered. No. As he was carried away by two dangerously beautiful and equally sadistic women, he silently cursed his fate. Damn you, Dad! Why am I surrounded by scary women? To be continued. Chapter 104, Chapter 85. Just my hobby. Imperial Palace, Japan. Back in the high school DxD world, inside the Imperial Palace of Japan, a lone figure sat in the Emperor's private chamber. A silent tension filled the room. The Emperor of Japan, Hayama Masaru, observed his unexpected guest with measured caution. Despite his composed demeanor, he felt an unsettling presence in this mysterious white-haired man, whose existence seemed to distort reality itself. Who is he? How did he get here without alerting security? The Emperor straightened his posture, eyes cold and unreadable. To what do I owe the pleasure of this unannounced visit? It's surprising. Satria leaned back with a smirk, his crimson eyes glinting. That the Emperor of Japan is just an ordinary human, in a world teeming with gods, devils, and monsters. Hayama's expression did not falter, but his fingers subtly tensed. So, you are aware of things that most humans do not speak of. Satria chuckled. Oh, please. You've always suspected the supernatural exists. But suspicions mean nothing without proof. A golden glow formed in Satria's hand. Allow me to restore what was stolen from you. A beam of golden light shot from Satria's palm, striking the Emperor's forehead. Memories unlocked. A surge of lost knowledge flooded Hayama's mind. Images of figures with animalistic traits yokai. A woman named Yasaka taking something from his office. A hidden truth erased from his mind. The Emperor's breathing hitched as he gripped the armrest of his chair. TCH. So I was manipulated. His eyes burned with frustration. I have been made a fool in my own palace. His gaze locked onto Satria. You did not do this out of kindness. Speak. What do you want? Straight to business? I like that. Satria grinned, crossing his legs. I'll be blunt. Your country is on a path to destruction. The conflict looming ahead will reduce Japan to ashes if nothing is done. The Emperor's expression remained unreadable. And you, an outsider, claim to have a solution. Satria gave a thumbs up. Not just a solution, a deal. Invest in me, and I will ensure Japan's survival. Your pantheon cannot handle what's coming, but I can. Hayama's brows furrowed. And what is the price of this protection? Satria leaned in, his voice smooth. Support me when the time comes. In return, I guarantee Japan will not only survive but flourish. You won't regret the investment. A cold silence stretched between them. Then click. The Emperor pressed a hidden button beneath his chair. The doors burst open. Imperial guards enter. Elite royal guards, clad in black and gold armor, stormed the chamber, rifles aimed at Satria. I suggest you surrender, answer my questions, and submit yourself for investigation. Satria sighed dramatically. Really? After I went out of my way to be polite. One of the guards stepped forward. Resisting will be seen as an act of hostility against Japan. Satria tilted his head. Oh? Well, in that case. Before anyone could react, golden lightning surged around him. In the blink of an eye. Crack! A thunderous bolt struck the ground. Satria and the Emperor vanished. The Emperor staggered back, his breath sharp and unsteady. The sky above him was no longer Japan's. The land stretched endlessly, alien structures rising in the distance. The air itself buzzed with an unfamiliar energy. Where are we? Satria stood beside him, arms crossed. Sector 2614. A universe far from your own. Hayama's stomach churned. You abducted the Emperor of Japan. Satria chuckled. Oh, don't be so dramatic. Think of this as a change in perspective. The Emperor's jaw tightened. What is the meaning of this? Satria's expression darkened. Let's get one thing straight, Hayama. In Japan, you are the Emperor. But here? You are nothing. A chill ran down the Emperor's spine. Satria's presence shifted, his aura no longer playful but immensely oppressive. The air itself seemed to bend around him. Hayama gritted his teeth. Do you think fear will earn my trust? This only proves you are a barbarian. Satria laughed. Barbaric? Coming from a nation with its own colorful history. Now that's rich. The Emperor clenched his fists. Say what you will. But this only convinces me that I should never trust you. Satria's smirk faded. A deadly silence. Then, he spoke. I could destroy Japan in an instant. I could tear down your gods and leave your empire in ruin. But I won't. Hayama inhaled sharply. Satria stepped closer, voice low and cold. Why? Because my wife is Japanese. The Emperor's eyes widened slightly. Because despite all its flaws, I respect this nation. And because you, Hayama, have the potential to be greater than a mere figurehead. Satria extended a proposal letter. This is not about fear. It's about survival. The Emperor hesitated. His pride clashed with the undeniable reality Japan faced an unseen threat, and this man was offering a lifeline. Slowly, he took the letter. His eyes scanned the contents and he froze. The terms were, surprisingly reasonable. A mutually beneficial alliance. A means to protect his people. A way to maintain Japan's sovereignty while securing its future. His grip on the paper tightened. Satria watched him closely. You don't have to like me, Hayama. But you know this is the best option on the table. A long silence. Then the Emperor exhaled. His resistance wavered. Finally he spoke. Very well. We have a deal. A new alliance was forged. One that would shape the future of Japan and the supernatural world itself. Satria's mansion Kyoto, Japan. After a 4-day holiday in Bali, Satria and his family finally returned home to Kyoto town. Their vacation had been eventful, resolving an issue with Ancient One peacefully, as she deemed a fight with Satria pointless due to the inevitable damage it would cause to both sides. As for Fran and Kurumi, they had returned to their own worlds after their vacation. But before leaving, they each gave Satria a farewell kiss, an act that immediately sent Fran's guardian into a frenzy. The poor guardian had spent the rest of the trip chasing Satria through Bali, but catching a Speed Force user was a fool's errand. Home sweet home. Wait, what the hell happened? The group arrived at their mansion, only to find something off. Valyana furrowed her brows, glancing around at the unfamiliar details. Why does our house look different? Fatalis tapped her chin thoughtfully. Beats me. How about we check every room? With curiosity piqued, the family stepped inside. Their mansion, a blend of Indonesian, Japanese, and Western architecture, had transformed. The grand foyer welcomed them with soaring ceilings and a double staircase, its polished Carrara marble floors reflecting the sunlight streaming through massive windows. Hand-painted murals and gold leaf accents decorated the walls, and an imported French crystal chandelier hung overhead, casting a dazzling glow. The indoor amenities had also changed. A gourmet kitchen with traditional Japanese aesthetics. A home theater equipped with the latest technology. A wine cellar and tasting room, though Satria rarely cared for wine. An indoor pool and spa, a gym, and a massive library. The outdoor spaces were just as extravagant. Expansive terraces with outdoor kitchens and dining areas, An infinity pool and hot tub. Private cabanas, fire pits, and secluded garden paths. Konako, arms crossed, took in the sight before muttering, "Senpai is way too rich." Valyana turned to Satria with narrowed eyes. "Where the hell did you get all this money?" Satria merely grinned, pulling a pokeball from his pocket. "Company secret, the less you know, the better." He tossed the ball into the air. His pets burst out, running freely into the vast garden, yipping happily. But before they could fully appreciate their newly renovated home, a loud voice shattered the peace. "Dear God, the only thing I ask of you." A booming heavy metal voice erupted from somewhere inside the mansion, shaking the very walls. The lyrics carried raw emotion, yet in Japan, a country known for its quiet, polite culture, this level of noise was borderline illegal. "To hold her when I'm not around. When I'm much too far away. We all need that person who can be true to you." The music blasted through the house, making everyone stiffen in alarm. Kiyohime sighed, closing her eyes as if suppressing the urge to murder someone. Then, without warning, Shlake! She wrapped her long snake tail around Satria, squeezing him tightly in a punishing embrace. Pun. "It wasn't me. It was my clone." Satria choked out, flailing helplessly. Kiyohime narrowed her eyes. "Danasama, morning chaos already? You are much too lively." Satria groaned. "But our house has soundproofing." "What's the problem?" Konako, arms crossed, explained matter-of-factly. "In Japan, we emphasize harmony and respect for others. Making loud noises, especially in the morning, disturbs the peace. Even inside your own house, keeping noise levels low is considered polite." Satria internally groaned. "You girls are way too strict. Let a man enjoy his music." Seeing Satria's suffering, Fatalis decided to stir the pot even further. She smirked. "How about we go check on our dear clone? Let's see what kind of pranks he's been pulling while we were gone." Satria froze. "Oh no! That bastard definitely did something while we were gone." The girls turned to him expectantly, while Kiyohime tightened her grip. This was going to be a long day. Damn clone! The moment Satria's clone saw the family return home, and more importantly, Kiyohime's scary expression, he did the only logical thing. Self-destruction. With a dramatic poof, the clone vanished, transferring all of his memories, experiences, and headaches directly to the original Satria. Arg! Satria clutched his head, groaning as the flood of information surged through his brain. "Damn it, you cowardly bastard! At least deal with the consequences of your own mess." The girls watched him suffer in mild amusement. "What did you even do while we were gone?" Valyana raised an eyebrow. Satria sighed, rubbing his temples. "Fine, I'll tell you everything." He went on to explain his activities as Black Flash, the persona he had used to infiltrate the Emperor of Japan's residence, his meeting with a demon lord, and his plans to build a multi-industry company. When he finished, he took a deep breath. "Sorry for not telling you all of this earlier, but everything I do is for us to provide not just wealth, but love and happiness for our family." The room fell silent for a moment. Then, "You're Black Flash?" Valyana's shocked voice broke the tension. "The infamous criminal we've been chasing all this time. No wonder we never found you." She sighed, shaking her head. Honestly, she shouldn't be surprised after all. She herself was a traitor and soon-to-be wanted criminal. It seemed fitting that she had married someone just as troublesome. Kiyohime, however, remained calm, offering Satria a gentle smile. "I'm happy you think of us so dearly, Danasama. But be careful. Humans and devils alike, especially those in power, are not to be trusted." Albion, the ancient dragon within Valyana, rumbled in agreement. "The biblical faction will not allow an unknown factor like you to roam freely. Sooner or later, they will force you to either join them or become their enemy." Satria shrugged. "Let them try. I'll handle it. Konako, meanwhile, stared at him, looking deeply unimpressed. She pulled out a small notepad and began reading. Let's see. The Tokyo Water Park incident, extorting money from Japan's crime syndicates, terrorizing them if they refused to pay protection fees, traumatizing some people just because they called you a weirdo. She flipped the page. Oh, and now you're classified as an SSS rank criminal, even surpassing my older sister in infamy. And that's just the stuff we know about. Senpai, why? Satria scratched his cheek, grinning sheepishly. Boredom. Without hesitation, Konako punched him in the stomach. Gah! Satria hunched over, gasping. Damn it, little tiger. You hit hard. Konako crossed her arms, scolding him like a strict teacher. You can't commit crimes just because you're bored, senpai. You need to be responsible. You're the head of our family, act like it. As Satria struggled to breathe, Fatalis merely laughed darkly. Ha! Why should our puppy care about the opinions of insignificant insects? She sneered, her eyes blazing with amusement. Humans and devils alike always believe themselves mighty, but in the end, they are fragile. Valyuna, however, chuckled, resting a hand on her hip. You're not wrong, Fatalis-san. Our puppy may be adorable, but his power is unquestionable. Stop calling me puppy, Satria grumbled, still recovering from Konako's punch. He straightened up, sighing. Fine, for the record, Black Flash is just a persona I use when I need to blow off steam. Nothing more. He glanced at Konako, offering a small smile. I get what you're saying, love. I'll try to be better. Okay. Konako stared at him for a moment, then nodded, a soft smile gracing her lips. Good. I love you more when you do good things and make people smile. The room went silent as both Fatalis and Valyuna paused, suddenly feeling awkward. Valyuna frowned. Damn it. Now I feel like an asshole for being so boastful. Fatalis sighed, rubbing her forehead. Geez. Being lectured by a youngster is kind of humiliating. This must be what it feels like to be hit with talk no jutsu. Satria grinned. Welcome to my world. Valyuna stretched her arms, glancing at the clock. All right, I need to check in with my team at the Chaos Brigade. She waved a hand, opening a shimmering blue portal leading to her faction's base. Kiyohime, lounging gracefully on the couch, tilted her head. Will you be home late, Valyuna-san? Valyuna smirked, flashing a confident grin. Nope, I'll be back by dinner. No way I'm missing out on your cooking. She stepped toward the portal, but then... Naki cut. A loud exclamation in Malay rang out behind her. Me too. I wanna see how an evil organization operates firsthand. Sounds fun. Valyuna barely had time to react before Satria and Fatalis appeared beside her, brimming with excitement. And then... everyone froze. Valyuna, Kiyohime and Konako stared blankly at Satria, who stood before them in a full-body chicken costume. Yes. A chicken. Fluffy feathers, oversized beak, ridiculous talons, the whole ridiculous ensemble. Kiyohime blinked. Konako's tail twitched. Valyuna's eye twitched harder. Satria, completely unbothered, struck a heroic pose. Behold! You may introduce me as the Avian Avenger, he declared dramatically. The embodiment of every chicken's wrath, the feathery nightmare of those who dare to oppress my brethren. Vengeance shall be served, one peck at a time. Silence. Then... Fatalis collapsed to the floor, clutching her sides. Wahahaha. I can't, this is too good, help. Konako sighed, expression blank. My image of cool senpai is beginning to crumble. Valyuna, meanwhile, was vehemently resisting the urge to throw him into the sun. You idiot! Do you have any idea how embarrassing it'd be if my subordinates saw my husband like this? Satria gave her the ultimate weapon. The puppy dog eyes. His big, pleading gaze shimmered with desperation, as if his entire existence depended on this moment. Valyana crossed her arms, completely unmoved. No buts. You are not following me. Be a good boy and stay home. She turned and vanished through the portal, sealing it behind her. As the room fell into silence, Kiyohime exhaled, massaging her temple. Those two are so childish. But then she noticed something. The two most problematic children in the house were missing. The dimly lit chamber of the Cows Brigade's headquarters felt even heavier than usual. A group of powerful individuals stood in the flickering shadows, their expressions grim. A black-haired Gothic Lolita, her presence overwhelming despite her petite form, sat on a throne-like seat, her gaze impassive as she observed the conversation unfolding before her. Still no sign of your leader, a cloaked figure inquired, his voice laced with impatience. A man in a hooded robe shook his head. Nothing. Without Valyana, sabotaging the three-faction peace conference is impossible. Humph. Maybe she was defeated or killed by someone outside our radar. What a disappointment, another scoffed. A sultry voice cut in. No way, Naya. Valyana-chan is strong. There's no chance she got taken down without us knowing. The speaker, a black-haired cat girl with a voluptuous figure, crossed her arms and scowled. A third voice, more analytical, joined the discussion. Strange, though. Even off-eyes can't sense her presence, not even a corpse. It's been a full month, and we still have nothing. A sharp tch of frustration echoed through the room. That half-blood's disappearance is complicating everything. Without her, my plans for revenge against Sierra Fall are stalled, the cloaked figure spat. Someone else hesitated before offering a suggestion. Perhaps, we should find a replacement. The room went silent. Who? The voice lowered, as if speaking forbidden knowledge. There's a new figure wreaking havoc in Japan. An SSS-rank criminal known as Black Flash. A pause. Who? From the reports we gathered, he claims to be human, though we can't confirm if it's true. A deep, gravelly chuckle shook the chamber. You want to replace the White Dragon Emperor with some mere human? The speaker, a dragon known as Krom Kruuk, sneered. That's an insult to our kind. Another voice countered, sharp and determined. Don't underestimate humans, Krom Kruuk. If he's truly as powerful as the rumors say, he belongs in our hero faction. We should stick together. And then, a blue portal swirled into existence at the center of the chamber. From its depths, Valyana strode out. Dressed in her usual dark attire, she walked to her seat without a word, her expression unreadable. Silence. Every single person in the room stared as if they'd seen a ghost. Valyana-chan. In an instant, a blur of black and white tackled her. Kurika wrapped her arms around Valyana, pressing her into her ample chest. Where have you been, Naya? You had us all worried. Valyana, completely unfazed, sighed. That's none of your concern. I was handling personal matters. Kurika sniffed, her feline instincts kicking in. Her ears perked. Her golden eyes widened. And then, a wicked grin spread across her face. Wait a minute, I smell something different on you. She leaned in closer. You didn't mate with someone, did you? The entire room froze. Mating. A small magician turned beet red. What? A monkey-like warrior slammed his fists together, sparks of battle intent igniting in his eyes. Who's the bastard? I need to test his strength first. Hey, shut up. Valyana snapped, smacking Kurika over the head. I'm not interested in that kind of thing. Oh, so it was just a one-night thing. Kurika teased, her tail swaying mischievously. I mean, it makes sense. Even an ice queen like you has certain urges, Naya. Her grin turned even more devious. So? Who's the lucky guy? Or girl? Spill the details. Or better yet, share him with me. Valyana's dragon-like pupils narrowed dangerously. A chilling pressure filled the room. That's enough, Kurika. Kurika immediately stiffened. Yes, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. As the tension settled, a quiet voice broke the silence. What is mating? Every eye turned toward Off-Eyes, the gothic Lolita with cosmic-level power, as she stared at Arthur Pendragon with genuine curiosity. Arthur cleared his throat. Mating is a courtship ritual. It involves physical interactions between a male and female, though sometimes same-gender interactions occur. The primary purpose is reproduction, though some do it for personal gratification. Off-Eyes pondered this. I see. Can I mate? Silence. Pure. Absolute. Silence. Several members visibly trembled. Crom Cruick looked like he was contemplating a new apocalypse. Arthur adjusted his glasses, trying to maintain his composure. I believe that before one considers mating, they must first understand love. Off-Eyes tilted her head. Love. For the first time, she felt something foreign stir within her, an odd curiosity she had never known before. And that was a terrifying thought. A twister of black flames erupted in the meeting hall, forcing the members of the Cow's Brigade to brace themselves against the overwhelming heat and pressure. As the inferno swirled and dissipated, a massive black dragon stood at the center of the chaos, its jet-black scales glistening under the dim chamber lights. Its very presence exuded destruction, insatiable, unrelenting. And standing proudly on its back was a man. A man dressed head to toe in a ridiculous chicken costume. Silence. Dead silence. Even the most battle-hardened members of the Cow's Brigade struggled to process what they were witnessing. And then, who are you? How did you get in here? A voice filled with rage and disbelief boomed across the chamber. Among those ready to attack, Crom Cruick's golden eyes gleamed with excitement. Ha ha ha! Such power! It's been ages since I've sensed a dragon like this. My blood is boiling. Another voice, Grendel, sneered. This one is mine, Crom Cruick. Don't get in my way. Like hell. Back off, Grendel. Meanwhile, Valyana sat frozen, her fingers twitching in frustration. She didn't need to look twice to recognize the two idiots who had completely ignored her orders. Those two idiots. I explicitly told them not to come. She clenched her fists, biting back a twitching smirk. Ha ha. Ha ha ha. You really want to be punished, don't you? You bad puppies. She rose from her seat, cutting through the tension like a blade. You finally arrived, Black Flash. Welcome to the Cow's Brigade. All eyes turned toward her. Wait. You brought them here. One of the leaders from Old Devil factions snapped. Are they joining us? I'll accept the Black Dragon, but the clown no. We're an evil organization, not a circus. He's Black Flash, another muttered from hero factions, squinting at Satria's comically oversized beak mask. He doesn't look threatening at all. Crom Cruick narrowed his eyes at Satria, sensing something off. The dragon is strong, but the chicken. He folded his arms. Either you're hiding your power, or you're just an idiot. A small figure circled them, her expression unreadable. Off-Eyes. Her cosmic gaze studied both Fatalis and Satria, as if analyzing something beyond physicality itself. You too. She murmured. What are your names? Fatalis smirked. She stepped forward, flames crackling around her form. Tremble before me, mortals, she declared. I am Fatalis the Malevolent. Harbinger of Calamity. Master of Flames. A being beyond your comprehension. The strongest elder dragon. A dramatic gust of wind blew through the hall. And then Satria jumped forward, striking an absurd pose. Through the eons, I have been known by many names, he announced dramatically. Everyone held their breath. But my true name of power is Avian Avenger. He pointed toward the heavens. The wrath of every chicken. The spirit of vengeance against those who have wronged my feathered kin. Silence. Valiana and Albion both face-palmed. Super idiots. Wrath of every chicken, one sorcerer echoed in disbelief. Elder dragon? What kind of species is that? One of evil dragon gawked at Fatalis. How does a creature as magnificent as you associate with this lunatic? Before Fatalis could retort, a furious voice cut through the room. Enough! From the shadows, a noble-looking devil stepped forward. His eyes blazed with inherited pride. You! He pointed at Satria. Get down here, you jester! I am the true heir of House Asmodeus, and I will personally deliver your eternal suffering. Satria barely turned his head, waving a lazy hand. Nay, you were no match for my power, stupid bat. But then, who is? The noble's eye twitched violently. What? Before the devil could erupt, another voice, deeper and filled with raw power, cut through the tension. Step aside, fool! This chicken belongs to me. Crom Kruok, now in his human form, took a step forward. Even in his restrained shape, the sheer weight of his presence made the air heavy. He smirked, golden eyes gleaming with primal fire. How about this? He challenged. If you can block even one of my attacks, I'll convince these fools to accept you. But his smirk widened into something sinister. If you fail, he patted his stomach. I'll make you my chicken dinner. Satria stretched his arms, cracking his knuckles. You think I need your permission to join this group, you oversized gecko? His voice dripped with amusement. Gasps rippled through the room. You dare call me a lizard? The ground trembled violently as Crom Kruok's aura exploded outward, his form flickering between human and dragon. His voice boomed across the base. I am Crom Kruok, the strongest evil dragon. A force that rivals the heavenly dragons Drake and Albion. The room quaked under his presence. His golden scales pulsed with raw power as his transformation neared completion. His wings unfolded, their sheer size casting a monstrous shadow. His gaze burned with ancient, primal malice. A beast of destruction. A force of nature. And yet, Satria didn't flinch. If anything, he grinned. As Crom Kruok lunged, the ground shattered beneath his feet, the force of his movement sending shockwaves across the chamber. His claws, coated in abyssal energy, swiped down toward Satria with devastating speed. And then, a pulse of invisible force erupted from Satria's body. The air shifted. The temperature dropped.